teacher.
Tina Kraus reports the school has now been evacuated and students are receiving care either on site or at local hospitals. Well, protests against federal immigration raids enter their fifth day, that is, in Los Angeles. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass speaks out against federal forces coming in. She's warning the administration might be using her city as a trial run for other cities.
I feel like we are a case study in what happens when the federal government moves in and takes over power from the state government and from the local entity.
The Trump administration is sending 700 Marines into Los Angeles. It's also ordering the deployment of 2,000 more California National Guard troops. Barrow County commissioners are trying to figure out just how to make changes to the way school resource officers are paid after recently saying they would not help the school board fund 24 officers. County spokesman Brian Stewart says some senior citizens in the county are exempt from paying school taxes, creating a funding challenge for the program.
I'd like to make something clear. Barrow County is not defunding the SRO program.
The commission says its current budget proposal honors a 2017 agreement to help pay for 12 SROs. It comes less than a year after the Appalachia High School shooting. A new study finds the Southeast has the highest dementia rates in the country. Researchers at UC San Francisco say rates are 25% higher than normal in our part of the country, just above the Northwest and Rocky Mountains. The primary distributor to Whole Foods Markets says a security breach is leading to customer delays.
A major supplier to Amazon's Whole Foods Markets, United Natural Foods, has shut down some of its systems after noticing a cybersecurity breach back on June 5th. The move has caused business disruptions and has delayed customer orders. The company says law enforcement has been notified. United Natural Foods supplies roughly 250,000 products such as frozen foods as well as wellness products. The wholesaler said last year it had entered into an agreement to serve as a primary distributor for Whole Foods Markets. I'm Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman for 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. First time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Triple team traffic with Smilin' Mark McKay.
All right, so the delays on 285, Cheryl, are really starting to pick up now between Tucker and Doraville across the north side perimeter. Crash that knocks out most of the right side of the roadway. 285 westbound at I-85 exit 33 has you slow back toward Lawrenceville Highway. Get past that. Still seeing slowing as you work your way through Doraville. The inner loop into the Sunshine is slow on 285 east, leaving I-75 past exit 24. Riverside Drive still trying to work out those delays into Duluth. Ashley Frasca.
You may encounter some slow traffic that remains 85 south below 317 Lawrenceville Swanee as you head toward 316, but that crash that lingered before 316 right at the Pleasant Hill ramp, that has cleared. All lanes are open. The ride stays sluggish all the way past Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Georgia 400 south, leftover slowing roughly between Haynesbridge and Holcomb Bridge, and now filling in through Marietta. You're on and off the brakes on 75 south beginning past Canton Road, Highway 5 to 285. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. Partly cloudy with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon, high 84. Drying out for tonight with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, sunshine with a few clouds, high 87. An isolated pop-up storm on Thursday, but mainly dry, high 88.
And right now, Duluth, you're at 71 degrees, 72 in Stonecrest, Mapleton 71. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Good Tuesday morning, friends. Mark Arum and crew bending your ears for the next 3 hours. A ton of stuff to talk to you about. 30 minutes from now, we're going to go live to L.A., get the latest on the protest there. In just a minute, we're going to get an update on that. Very interesting stuff. At 10 o'clock, we're going to have an immigration attorney on with us just to break down what's behind these ICE raids, what's happening to the folks that are being arrested. And 11:05, this is fantastic. You might remember the story we talked about here on the show, and you heard it on Atlanta's Morning News. The local high school graduate who went viral because as he was graduating from high school, his boss at Burger King called him up and said, "Hey, I need you to come in and work a shift." So he showed up to Burger King to work his shift in his cap and gown. It went viral. He had a GoFundMe page was formed for him to pay for college education. It's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anyway, he's going to join us live right after the news at 11:05. Very, very excited to talk about that. The future of the United States space program in doubt right now. We'll go in depth on that. A lot of moving parts. The International Space Station is set to plummet to Earth eventually. It's outlasted its usefulness, and what happens next to NASA and how we can get folks into space or out of space. We'll go in depth on that. I do want to start, though, with L.A. In case you're just waking up, you might not know what happened overnight in L.A. as we've been monitoring. I think this is the fourth day of the protests there. Stephanie Elam from CNN in downtown L.A. just moments ago.
I'm about a mile or so away from where you are. And you and I have covered so many protests, and we know as nighttime comes, things change, the energy changes, and this is exactly what we've seen. This Adidas store here in downtown Los Angeles broken into and looted, based on the fact that I see some shorts and shoes that are out here on the street here. The police officers just left from this area and have been cordoning this off until they could come and block it up and, block up with this door. But you listen to Mayor Karen Bass talk about just what this difference is between the people who are out here protesting ICE and the people who are out here vandalizing. Take a listen to what the mayor had to say.
To see the level of obscene graffiti all over buildings, and I just say that anybody that does that, don't come and say that you are supporting immigrant rights, the rights of immigrants. You can't possibly be supporting immigrants and vandalize our city. You will be held accountable and frankly need to be separated from the people who are really fighting on behalf of our immigrant community.
And so you look at how this is played out here, and you can see down the street that there's different places that people have tagged. There's graffiti all over downtown. And when we do have protests here in Los Angeles, they tend to stay concentrated here in downtown Los Angeles. 99% of the city is completely unaffected by this. But out here you can see this drama, this damage, and the tagging, the graffiti this time is so much more than we've seen in other times, and it is more of an aggressive expansion of where we've seen the destruction in other protests. That's the big difference that we're seeing out here, Sarah.
Stephanie Elam in downtown L.A. I think a couple of big takeaways there is the fact that it is concentrated in downtown L.A. You might remember when we had the protests here in downtown Atlanta. If you lived in Ackworth or Smyrna or Duluth, it didn't affect you at all. It was just concentrated in downtown. That's what we're seeing in L.A. But we are seeing protests grow across the nation. None violent like what we've seen in L.A. No damage done there. But New York, Dallas, Seattle, there might have been one here in Atlanta. Going to fact check that and make sure. But obviously something worth monitoring. Again, we're going to go live after the 9:30 news. We'll go live to L.A. and get an update this morning on the ever-evolving protests there. Continuing our team coverage, though, let's go to the State Department. Shannon Kingston from ABC News. Shannon, in reaction to what's been going on with the protests and the damage there, President Trump, calling up National Guard troop, possibly sending in Marines. What can you tell us from the State Department this morning?
Well, overnight we saw the first of some 700 active duty Marines making their way to Los Angeles. They are stationed at the nearby base 29 Palms. So they're making their way there, and they're joining what's expected to be more than 4,000 members of the National Guard. About 2,000 were deployed over the weekend, so that number has been ticking up. And then overnight, the president readied another 2,100 National Guardsmen. So the military presence is certainly escalating.
What is going to be their role, if any, when it comes to the protests in California?
Right now, it's a little bit unclear. Pentagon officials were working overnight to determine what the rules of engagement would be, but we do know that they are limited. The National Guard and the members of the active duty military, they're expected to be there protecting federal resources. So that could be ICE agents who are attempting to carry out deportations and raids across the city, and also federal buildings. And that's because they are deployed under Title 10, which gives them a lot of restrictions that will limit what they're able to do there. But if the president does elect to invoke the Insurrection Act, something that he has suggested, that would give them considerably more ability to confront protesters directly.
Before, even if it will happen, what are the restrictions they're currently facing right now, or they have to deal with in this deployment?
Well, this is in some ways a bit of uncharted territory. The National Guard has been called in without the approval of the state's governor before, but not since the 1960s. And of course, bringing in active duty military members, even if they can't do much more than the National Guard at this point, it certainly does send a message. So these troops will be able to protect themselves if they're confronted by protesters, but they won't be engaged in the direct crowd control. So far, we have seen that fall primarily to the LAPD and other local authorities.
Shannon, I know you're covering this from the State Department and you're not out west, but the reaction from the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're not too happy with these troops being sent.
Absolutely. California Governor Gavin Newsom has called this an overreach, an overstep of power by the president that meant to incite a political fight rather than actually deal with the situation on the ground. And local officials in California have said that, yes, there are protests going on right now, but they've compared them to what happens after one of their sports teams wins a championship. They say this is nothing that they can't deal with by themselves. And the concern here is that adding members of the military to the equation could lead to more confrontations. And this morning, the growing fear is that these, what have so far been isolated protests in Los Angeles, could spread across the country as the president's critics protest his immigration policies.
Shannon Kingston, ABC News at the State Department. Shannon, as always, appreciate your time.
Great. Thanks so much, Mark.
Again, we're going to continue our coverage of the protests in L.A., going live to downtown L.A. after the 9:35 news. At 10:05, we're going to be talking to an immigration attorney, trying to make sense of what is going on in L.A. Because, listen, I understand that the ICE raids impact very few people listening to the show right now. You're not concerned, but there are vulnerable communities that are not here illegally that are concerned about these ICE raids that are escalating and not just trying to go after, the worst of the worst that are here, but folks that are just, violate the law, came here illegally, but otherwise have been model citizens. So we're going to be all over this story throughout the day here on the Mark Arum Show and on 95.5 WSB. Want to shift gears here for a second. Longoria, do you remember the movie Children of Men?
Yes, yeah.
Good movie, right? So if you're not familiar with it, I guess it's probably like 15 years old now. It was a fictional movie about all of a sudden people stopped having babies on the planet. That was the crux of the movie. And for whatever reason, they didn't know why, but no, women were not getting pregnant anymore. And what that world would look like, how long it would take for humanity to go away if we no longer procreated. And they actually have done studies on this. If no babies stopped being born tomorrow, humanity would be gone in less than 100 years, right? Because most people don't live to be over 100 years. And if you don't have a younger population coming to work and, farmlands and the humanity would end a lot sooner than 100 years. It's a great movie. Fictional. Just putting it out there. It's fictional. It's not the case. But there's a new UN study now because this is becoming a thing. And you've heard actually Elon Musk talk about this, worried about the declining population on the planet. I'm on the other side. I think we have too many people as is, but I'll explain my side of the story after the second. Anyway, the new UN report warns that world fertility rates are in an unprecedented decline. CBS's Michael Wallace has the details.
The UN Population Fund survey found most people want 2 or more children, but 1 in 5 say they will not have their desired number. They cited financial reasons, infertility, lack of time, or lack of a suitable partner. Demographer Anna Rockhurch.
It seems that the whole humanity currently is entering the era of low fertility.
The UN fears some countries will overcorrect like they did 40 years ago when they worried they had too many people. Now they're looking to boost fertility again. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Crazy to think about that. And there's a number of reasons why the birth rate is declining. But experts say that we are going to peak as far as human population is concerned at 10 billion people in the year 2080. We have 8 billion today. But you think about the growth we've seen. I was born in 1973. In 1973, there were 4 billion people on the planet. Fast forward 50 years later, that number's doubled. 4 billion to 8 billion. I'm actually okay if we pump the brakes a little bit. I'm worried about the amount of natural resources we have to keep fed and watered 10 billion people. And say what you will about climate change, but one of the biggest fears of over the next century is that there are certain places on the globe that will no longer be habitable, where you can't grow crops, where you can't get clean water. And if you're, let's just say, a fictional country of Zamunda from Coming to America, let's say Zamunda, 50 million people in Zamunda, everything's been going fine, but all of a sudden, because of raising temperatures, and drought-like conditions, there's no longer enough food and water for 50 million Zamundans. So what do? They hightail it out of there. We're going to go to where the food and the water is. So you're going to see climate migration like we've never seen before on this planet. And where are they going to go? They're going to go to places that have food and water. And that's going to stress, let's say, the 50 million Zamundans come to the United States or Canada or to Europe, add 50 million into an already large population. It's an issue. And it's probably not something you are listening to right now are going to have to worry about, but your kids and grandkids might have. So I just don't know what the sustainability population-wise is on the planet. Breaking down the numbers, U.S. population currently stands at 342 million people. That's 200 million more people that were here than the 1930s. That's crazy. And spoiler alert, a lot of people want to come to the United States. So that number is going to fall. But as far as the birth rate's concerned, 3.6 million babies were born in 2024. That's down about 500,000 from 2004. Meanwhile, 3.3 million people died in 2022, up from 2.4 million 20 years earlier. So as we have it now, our death rate is increasing, right? As the boomer generation gets older and older, our birth rate's declining. You'd be like, oh, the population's falling. No, we're getting more people moving into the country, legally or illegally, but the population stands at 342 million. I don't know. I'm just fascinated by this story. How many people can the Earth viably sustain? Is 10 billion that number? Is that the max? We'll find out. I won't be here to find out, but a lot of you listening will be here in 2080 to find out, hey, is 10 billion too much? All right, got some update on Alzheimer's and dementia. A lot of two big issues that a lot of us are worrying about as we get older. We'll update that after we check traffic. Let's go live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. What's the latest, Mike Shields?
Hey, better news in Spaghetti Junction, Mark. Crash that at times had all lanes blocked. Moved to the right shoulder, 285 westbound, the outer loop right into I-85, exit 33. Those delays quickly improving as you make your way through Spaghetti Junction. Slow, though, into Cobb County. You know it, I-20 eastbound past Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68, where right lane road work is setting up. This report is brought to you by Echo Park Speedway. Experience the Quaker State 400 available at Walmart Saturday, June 28th under the lights in Atlanta. Get your tickets now at echoparkspeedway.com. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
I try even when I don't agree.
The opinions expressed are his.
To at least exercise some basic empathy.
And that's what makes you listen.
Coming in like a wrecking ball, taking it all out. It's fantastic.
Eric Erickson.
Today, starting at noon.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Scott Slade here from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you're going to be able to get it into the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. at least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the portfolio x-ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the portfolio x-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Well, spring has sprung, and you all know what that means. It's officially moving season. Hey, folks, it's Mark here. A time filled with hours of packing, unpacking, and so much bubble wrap. But the first thing you should do when moving into your new home is make sure that the Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity. Super quick, easy to set up, then boom! You have your new home hooked up with the ultimate Wi-Fi experience faster than the time it takes to parallel park a moving truck. Then you'll be back online with the most reliable Wi-Fi with the best in-class equipment from Xfinity. So you can just kick back, relax, and stream your favorite movies and TV shows while someone else deals with all of those boxes. Because with Xfinity, the only thing you'll have to worry about is remembering where you packed the remote. Make it right and easy. Move with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com/move. That's Xfinity.com/move. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi claim based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed broadband experience report August 2024.
That's you looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
First impressions matter, especially in the summer. Wise Guys Pro Wash will make sure your home makes the right impression. Soft wash, safe results, and zero hassle. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your home, driveway, deck, or roof wash. Book at wiseguysprowash.com.
9:25 on the Mark Arum Show today. All Sly on the Family Stone. As we remember, Sly Stone passed away yesterday, actually Monday. Yeah, that was yesterday, at the age of 82, following a prolonged battle with COPD. So today, Longoria is going to spin All Sly in the Family Stones. He did not pass away from Alzheimer's disease, which is something that I am worried about as I get older. This is interesting. A study published 30 years ago now striking up a new conversation about the potential connection between the common cold sore and Alzheimer's disease. Published in The Lancet in 1997, researchers compared DNA extracted from the brains of elderly people with and without Alzheimer's, and in some of them found that herpes simplex virus 1, HSV1, an infection often contracted in childhood, dormant in the nerves. So this research is saying if you had a cold sore, whatever that virus is, the HSV1, that you have an increased likelihood of Alzheimer's. Now, I'm freaking out. I don't remember if I ever had a cold sore as a child, and I don't know what they consider childhood or not. That's interesting. Can you imagine? We've been looking for the cause of Alzheimer's, and it's like, oh, you had a cold sore when you were 6. What do you do with that? That's crazy. I definitely want to follow that story. I'm worried about that. I'm pretty sure my grandfather had Alzheimer's, but back in the 80s, we weren't sure what you have. Related to is dementia. This is interesting. I think good news for us in the Southeast. The first of its kind large-scale studies found that dementia rates are highest. Oh, no, it's not good for us. In the American Southeast. 25%. Oh, that's not good. I thought it was America Southwest. The Northwest and the Rocky Mountains have a 23% rate of dementia for its residents. Northeastern U.S., which includes New York, have the lowest rate at 7%. So does that mean, Deborah, I got to move back to Connecticut?
You got to go back to Connecticut if you want to not get dementia.
Yeah, I'm just dodging dementia and Alzheimer's here. All right, I got to text my mom. Did I ever have a cold sore when I was a kid? All right, all Sly and the Family Stone today. Rest in peace, Sly Stone. When we come back after news, weather, and traffic, we are going live to Los Angeles, get an update downtown as the protests continue to grow. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Airman at WSB Radio.
There's nothing like a warm weather day here in North Georgia. Restaurant patios are packed. There are so many festivals, and I love concerts under the stars. Hey, it's Smiler Mark McKay. Imagine doing all of that and building your credit. You can with the Chime Secured Credit Builder Visa credit card. You build credit with money you were already going to spend while avoiding interest. Better credit means lower rates on car and home loans and better terms to borrow money for life's unexpected expenses. The Chime Secured Credit Builder Visa has no annual fees, interest, or credit checks, and you can use it everywhere Visa is accepted. Make everyday purchases count with Chime's Secured Credit Builder Visa credit card. Get started today at Chime.com. Chime feels like progress.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Chime checking account required to apply. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal and OTC advance fees may apply. Stop me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. Good morning to you. I'm Cheryl Castro. News brought to you by Dr. Roof. Well, new this morning, a widespread power outage is impacting hundreds of residents in the city of Avondale Estates, plus the City Hall. The outage is blamed on a large tree that fell on Covington Highway near the American Legion. City officials urge drivers heading westbound on 278 to use Stratford Road to Kensington Road, get to Avondale Road. Now, eastbound traffic can take Berkeley Road to Kensington Road to Covington Highway. No timeline yet, though, for the power restoration. Barrow County commissioners get an earful over funding for school resource officers.
The county defends its decision to pay for half of the district's 24 school resource officers next year.
Barrow County is not defunding the SRO program.
The county spokesman Brian Stewart insists the school board has enough money to cover the rest of the costs. However, teachers like Charity Lee question the county's position, especially after last fall's deadly shooting at Appalachia High School.
We will remember who stood for our children and who turned their backs
when we vote.
A final budget vote by the county is expected in late June. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
All repair work is now complete on cracks that caused major headaches for drivers who use the Buford Spring Connector ramp to access I-85 North. The Georgia DOT says those cracks developed last week as a result of drainage issues. Road crews will have to return at a later date to finish up some paving work, but the DOT says construction will be done overnight for that. All lanes, bottom line, are back open. Updating Israel at war at 9:31. There are reports of another shooting in Gaza, this time near an aid convoy carrying flour. Correspondent Elizabeth Palmer says the reports come days after officials in the region say other people trying to get to aid distribution sites were also shot.
What happens really is these crowds gather sometimes in the half light because they come overnight wanting to be first in line for aid and take a wrong turn, get too close to troops. This is a heavily militarized zone where the risk of being shot is pretty high.
Meanwhile, activist Greta Thunberg arrives in Paris after being deported from Israel. It comes a day after a Gaza-bound aid ship she was on was seized by the Israeli military. Israel says such ships violate its naval blockade of Gaza. It's 9:32. The debate over pickleball continues in Tucker. The city's mayor makes a last-minute move to rebid a controversial project to add more pickleball courts at the Tucker Recreation Center after council members voted against it last month, and council member Alexis Weaver objected.
We really need to involve the community and build trust back, and doing this last minute 11th hour isn't the right way to do it.
Critics have threatened to sue if the project moves forward. Chick-fil-A adds more peach options this summer. The Atlanta-based restaurant has just added a new drink. It's frosted peach lemonade. The chain is also offering a fried peach pie and also peach fruit waffle at certain locations around Atlanta. All of this is in addition to the peach milkshake, which just returned for its 16th summer. It's 9:33. Time to check traffic and weather. Live now to Mike Shields in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And Cheryl, watching a crash as you make your way through northwest Atlanta into Midtown, 75 southbound the ramp to Northside Drive, exit 252. That crash working mostly on the left shoulder right now. At times they have blocked the ramp entirely. Also watching delays form into Cobb County, 285 northbound the outer loop getting past Glenwood Road, exit 44. Right lane roadwork set up on the ramp that's impacting the through lanes. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy with a few pop-up showers through the afternoon, high 84. Drying out for tonight, lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, pleasant, high 87. Thursday, an isolated pop-up shower can't be ruled out, but mainly dry, high 88.
And right now, you're partly cloudy, 72 degrees in Kennesaw, another 72 in Norcross. You are at 71 in Smyrna. More news at 10 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What typically happens is a fringe element, many times not even connected to the major protests, takes the opportunity to create havoc and commit vandalism.
That's the mayor of L.A., Karen Bass. We'll go live to downtown L.A., the latest on the protests, 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show.
It's not going away. That spot you're trying to ignore in the ceiling, yep, it was there last week. It was there last month, and it's only going to get worse. Hey, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show. For my experts at Finley Roofing, the roof guys, everything you own and love lives under your roof, and it's long overdue to be replaced. So think of Finley first. Now that Finley has 0% financing available, it's even easier to stop procrastinating and get your roof replaced. Finley has installed over 65,000 roofs locally, including mine. They've mastered the roof replacement process with impeccable, high-quality work. Finley's seen it all and replaced it all. That's why Finley stands behind their work with a lifetime warranty on labor and materials at no additional cost. Nobody else does that. So now with 0% financing available, get started today with a Finley Roofing free roof analysis. FinleyRoofing.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
I can't emphasize enough the level of fear and terror that is in Angelenos right now, not knowing if tomorrow or tonight it might be where they live. It might
LA
be
Mayor Karen Bass, welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. We continue our team coverage of the days-long protests in Los Angeles. Joining us live from CBS News in LA, Camilo Montoya Galvez. Camilo, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
Get us caught up to speed here in Atlanta, if you don't mind. What happened last night in the protests, and what is it like on the streets of LA this morning?
Well, Southern California, simply put, continues to be the latest epicenter of the nation's polarizing debate over immigration policy and the question of whether ICE should be ramping up operations across the country targeting undocumented migrants who are suspected of being in the country illegally. We have had 4 consecutive nights of protests here in the LA area in Southern California, mainly, again, due to increased ICE activity here in the region, but also across the country. ICE has been expanding operations to target, identify, locate, arrest, and deport unauthorized immigrants across the country. The protests here have remained largely peaceful, but unfortunately, we have seen some agitators and others turn to violence, setting cars on fire and smashing sidewalks and other property to turn that into projectiles, if you will, to throw at law enforcement. And it is that violence that the Trump administration and President Trump, of course, have cited to justify the activation of several hundred Marines and obviously the mobilization of several thousand National Guard troops.
Have you seen Marines or National Guard troops yet in downtown LA patrolling the streets?
We have seen National Guardsmen guard several federal buildings in downtown LA, and the critical point to note is that the reason that we have seen several thousand people take to the streets in downtown LA, specifically around these federal buildings, is because those locations house the immigration court overseen by the Justice Department, but also the local ICE field office. And these are 2 locations where the agency had been arresting migrants who were showing up to their court hearings or checking appointments. And that really did seem to be the catalyst for these protests. We have not yet seen the Marines, but according to Trump administration officials, they should be arriving soon and be put in position to defend federal buildings.
Camilo Montoya Galvez from CBS News joining us live in LA here on the Mark Arum Show. Have we seen, the protest started, I believe, on Friday, continued through the weekend. Does it seem like they're gaining steam or losing momentum?
It looks like so far the momentum has been steady, and every afternoon the crowd starts to grow, and by the time we get to the evening hours, the crowds not just increase in numbers, but also in chaos. Yesterday, police tried to disperse many of the protesters in downtown LA, and that turned the situation a lot more tense and confrontational. And again, we did see some agitators try to confront police, and we saw several dozen arrests, according to local police data. But again, the open question is how long these protests will sustain and how long they will continue if they will, throughout the week.
Is there a leader of the protests? I mean, we've seen protests here in downtown Atlanta. Usually there's a spokesperson or a leader. Is there someone that the media talks to get at what these protesters are actually looking to accomplish?
It does not appear that there's one single unifying leader behind the protests here in LA. It does seem, however, that there are several advocacy groups that are calling people to march, to protest, most of them peacefully. I was in the crowd last night, and we kept hearing chants of peaceful protests, peaceful protests. So it does seem like many of the people who are participating in these acts of protest simply want to get their voices heard and their views vocally heard across the country, and they want to do so in a nonviolent manner. But of course, we cannot ignore that some of the protests have indeed turned violent, and that is, again, the justification that the Trump administration is citing to call up National Guardsmen and U.S. Marines.
And we've heard, again, back to the mayor of Los Angeles saying that, these protests start peacefully, and then you get agitators that are looking to rebel rouse or loot or cause damage, and that's something we see in protests where the peaceful protest might be the goal, but you get folks that infiltrate it and really destroy what the protest is all about.
That is completely accurate. We have seen people of all walks of life from different countries, women, men, children, take to the streets to vocally voice their frustrations about the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, increased ICE activity, and they have done so peacefully, but we also have seen agitators infiltrate these crowds to not only try to harm local and federal law enforcement, but also to turn the scenes into a much more chaotic, violent, and confrontational situation. And so it does very well seem like there are some here who are trying to exploit what is an otherwise peaceful act of First Amendment rights happening here in the LA area.
Camilo, I think there's a detachment for folks that aren't in LA on the purpose of the protests, right? You mentioned that they're protesting the increased ICE sweeps in Los Angeles County. What have those ICE sweeps look like, and why are the protesters upset about the increase in them? Exactly what's the issue that the protesters have with this increased ICE activity?
Sure. So as I noted earlier, ICE has been ramping up operations across the country targeting migrants who are here in the country illegally, specifically here in Southern California. On Friday, ICE conducted a worksite raid alongside the FBI and other federal partners that resulted in more than 40 individuals being arrested by the agency. Another 77 migrants were arrested on Friday in the greater LA area, and those operations that were highly visible seem to be the catalyst for the protests that, again, have now turned into a days-long set of demonstrations, the biggest, I think, yet since the president launched his immigration crackdown. What is also really important to note is that while ICE is arresting some migrants who are in the country illegally and also have criminal histories, there does seem to be a lot of opposition for the agency to arrest migrants who are simply in the country without legal permission and have no criminal records. And we have seen that now a growing share of those being arrested by ICE are undocumented immigrants who, yes, are here without authorization, but otherwise are not serious criminals.
Gotcha. All right. Camilo Montoya Galvez. Camilo, thank you so much for your time. Please stay safe out there.
Thank you.
All right. So and again, you had to know it was coming, right? This was a campaign promise that illegals were going to be, deported. And the first wave was, all right, who here, aside from entering the country illegally, who here has committed crimes? Who are the bad actors, right? That was what the Trump administration went after first, what ICE went after first. And I get, and Longoria said it yesterday, I guess all the criminals are gone, and now they're going after, as Camilo mentioned, workplace immigrants that, aside from being here illegally, have not yet, haven't committed any crimes other than that. So it shouldn't come as a surprise. I think everyone knew it was coming. We'll see if those protests continue in L.A. They certainly haven't gotten worse, but it's not getting better. We'll see if the National Guard and the Marines can do anything to make sure they are less violent and there's less destruction. Again, reports that pop-up protests in New York, Dallas, Seattle, trying to get confirmation that anything has happened here. I believe there was one in Texas. Yeah, indeed, in Austin. Longoria, familiar with Austin,
yes,
right? So apparently immigration protests have spread across the country. In Austin, Texas, police used non-lethal means to confront demonstrators. KEYE TV reporter Andrew Freeman was there.
Austin police used tear gas to disperse protesters after multiple warnings that the gathering had become an unlawful assembly. Some protesters threw paint at the federal building and others vandalized the doors and windows. Protesters say while they don't necessarily condone vandalism, it's focusing on the wrong issue.
When families are separated, that's not a violation of human rights, but for some reason a slight violation of government property like this, that's the biggest deal.
All right, so that's in Austin, Texas. Trying to get confirmation if anything has happened here. Deborah, where would it... I mean, most of the protests we've seen here are in downtown Atlanta, but that's not a heavily Hispanic population, right? I would think Buford Highway, you'd see.
Yeah, Doraville and Chamblee have some Hispanic neighborhoods. But I don't know that, again, it'd be Buford Highway where a lot of those businesses are. I think that's maybe where they would target.
Yeah, interesting. So if anything does pop here locally, we will let you know on 95.5 WSB. Coming up after traffic and a quick break, sticker shock for a dress shopper. And apparently it's all being blamed on tariffs. We'll tell you about that story. Let's check the ride around town, though, on this Tuesday morning. Do we have any hot spots right now, Mike Shields?
Yeah, right now, I-20 into Cobb County. Mark, brand new stalled vehicle reported in a right lane. I-20 westbound past Panola Road, exit 71. On the other side of the roadway, road work reported in the right lane. I-20 eastbound past Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. So a little sluggish in both directions. And a crash working on the left shoulder of the 75 southbound ramp, the north side drive, causing some delays in northwest Atlanta into Midtown. The support is brought by Purple Mattress. Purple Mattress and pillows are up to 75% off for a limited time. Shop their showroom at the outlet shops at Atlanta this weekend for amazing deals. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The Morning Rush Hour.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the
Evening
median.
Rush Hour.
It is an absolute mess.
And everything in between.
Also, bring the speeds down. The rain is falling on 75 and 575.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic. Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi, it's Tim Andrews for My Roofer FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you'll be able to get it in the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we are conquering the unconquerable. Our experts are leading the way with innovative regenerative medicines and biotherapeutics that can repair diseased, injured, or defective tissues and organs to help treat people with chronic medical conditions. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic, you know where to go.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate the hassle this summer. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home and skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit scottantiquemarket.com for more information.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Home is where the heart is. It's your happy place, right? But when bugs and critters bust in, not so happy, and it happened to me. Hey, it's Mark Aram from my pals at Breda Pest Management. Boy, did they come to our rescue. When we moved to our new home, we were shocked to see 2 beady little eyes in the basement. So gross. What do? We called Breda to kick those critters out. They found and secured a bunch of entry points. Next, they trapped and removed the critters, disposed of their nesting, disinfect and deodorized, all like they were never even there. And check this out, guys. Under the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, if critters chew new holes in your home, you stay protected at no additional cost. Only Breda guarantees old and new entry points, while others only cover what they originally sealed. Breda, they handle bugs and critters the best in the biz. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
9:52 on the Mark Aram Show. Sly and the Family Stone all day today. Rest in peace, Sly Stone. Coming up after the news at 10, we're going to talk to an immigration attorney, get her perspective on the protests and the increased ICE raids nationwide. And really excited. Joining us live after the news at 11, the Burger King grad, the local kid who went viral. He left his graduation, his high school graduation, because his boss at Burger King said, hey, I need you to cover a shift. He showed up in his cap and gown, did his job, and went viral. And I'm very excited. He's going to join us live at 11:05. All right, I have not seen much tariff sticker shock yet. Most of the goods and services that I buy have not been impacted by tariffs. But apparently a woman bought a ton of dresses. I'm assuming these are from a low-cost provider in China, Deborah. That's where, like, the Temu or one of those dress sellers.
Similar to that, yeah. Similar to that. Mm-hmm.
And they got crazy sticker shock. So how much did they expect to pay for the dresses, and how much did they actually have to pay for these dresses?
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, those cheap stores, cheaper cost stores like Temu and things, you know, a lot of people like ordering from them because you can get a lot of stuff for very little cost. Well, this woman ordered a bunch of dresses. She's an influencer, so she's all got to have all these new clothes. She ordered dresses. It was supposed to be about $150, which she paid, but when she opened up her package, there was another bill, an invoice of $1,200, and that was stated for import tariffs. Now, she claims none of this was ever mentioned on the checkout site when she was online.
So wait, she got an invoice. The invoice doesn't mean you have to pay it, though, right? I mean,
that's her TikTok video, so who knows?
Well, I was feeling bad for the woman in the story until you told me she was an influencer. Now I have no I have no feelings of sadness for her.
That's her livelihood. That's her job.
Good. Well, you take the good, you take the bad. You take them both, and there we have the facts of life. Yeah, she learned. All right. But if I bought, like, the only thing I bought to get ahead of the tariffs was deodorant, 4 or 5 cases, whatever I ordered, cases of deodorant. And if I ordered them and my credit card was charged $150 or whatever, if they got shipped and inside was an additional bill for $1,000 and they hadn't charged my credit card, you know what I do with that bill?
Rip it up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Come after me. Columbia House still hasn't collected my CD money from the 90s.
Do you even know what Columbia House is?
He has no idea. Columbia House CDs, Gnocchi, have you ever heard of them?
CDs?
No.
CDs, cassettes.
Cassettes?
Yeah. So there used to be this thing called Columbia House. You can get 9 CDs for a penny.
Oh, I've heard that. But
yeah.
Didn't it end up costing like
Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but it allegedly, but no one ever paid that.
no one ever
So
paid
we
it.
all got 9 CDs for a penny. And Columbia House, there's probably warrants still out for our arrest on that. Anyway, I was going to feel bad for this lady, but now she's an influencer. I don't feel bad. I love a little good biblical archaeological story. Deborah, let's go back to the parting of the Red Seas and Moses. Of all the unbelievable stories in the Bible, I think a lot of folks go, no, that never happened. He couldn't part the Red Seas. But now they're saying actually there might be a reason why the Red Sea parted from Moses.
Yeah, so we all know the story of Moses, right? Let my people go, leads people there out of Egypt, and he parted the Red Sea with his staff to escape. But if we watch those movies, it looks like there's no way that can happen. So new research points to Mother Nature actually helping out, suggesting there were really, really strong winds that could have actually forced the water out of the way. And since Moses was aware of the tides, he knew where low tide was, and it was a lot easier for them to cross. There's actually about a 3-mile gap that would have been easier for people to cross over the Red Sea rather than like a wall of water that they were walking between that we've probably seen in the movies.
They've done like radar or LIDAR of the Red Sea, and you can see it's like an elevated sandbar that goes across. And they've always said, that might have been where Moses, parted the Red Sea and was able to walk. I always assumed it was a tide situation. Like Moses and my cousins were fleeing on low tide on this sandbar.
Yeah.
And then high tide came back in and then, enveloped the
Egyptians didn't know
Egyptian
what to
army.
do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let my Cameron go. All right, good stuff, Deborah. All right, coming up after news, weather, and traffic, Katie Lincoln Goldfinch is an immigration attorney. We're going to get her perspective on what's going on with the protests in L.A. and the increase in the sweep of ICE raids. 11:05, the viral Burger King grad joins us, and we've got a couple of big international stories. It looks like major increase in military activity between Russia and Ukraine. And the six times we've sat down with Iran trying to work out a nuclear deal. We heard from President Trump on that yesterday. We'll get you caught up to date on the U.S.-Iran talks. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm thrilled with my Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns inviting you to North Georgia Replacement Windows' brand new Alpharetta showroom. I was blown away. Bring your window and door project to life here. See the fiberglass difference in person. Your stress-free experience includes a quick, accurate proposal, no pressure. Window and door shopping made simple.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
You need a real vacation, one where you can truly disconnect and be present. I'm Richard with Lux and Rome Travel. I take the stress out of planning so you can focus on relaxing, enjoying, and making memories that last a lifetime. From European family adventures to luxury cruises, we design trips tailored just for you. Be present on your dream vacation with Lux and Rome. Book today at luxrome.com. That's LUXEROAM.com. That's luxrome.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Man's best friend, loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Aw, that's Rufus the Bulldog, the chief barking officer for Findlay Roofing. The Roof guys. Dave Baker here. For over 30 years, Findlay Roofing's been your roof's best friend. Loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. When it comes to your roof, think of Rufus and Findlay first. 0% financing available. FindlayRoofing.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 10 o'clock, I'm Graham Carroll. This news brought to you by TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling.
Our top local story, a rally outside the CDC headquarters on Clifton Road this afternoon meant to sound the alarm about proposed budget cuts to the agency. Organizers fearing the cuts in staff and services will have a devastating effect on the health of all Americans. The event was planned before yesterday's unprecedented decision by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to remove everyone on the CDC's 17-member panel of outside vaccine advisors, saying the panel is rife with conflicts of interest. But infectious disease Dr. Michael Osterholm says they're nonpartisan advisors, not political operatives.
You and I don't ask in our pilot flying our plane, are you a Democrat or Republican? You ask, can you fly this plane safely? Do you have the experience and the expertise to do that? That's what this committee was all about. And it has served us very, very well over the years.
The rally at the CDC begins at 2 p.m. this afternoon. New this morning, the city of Avondale Estates dealing with a widespread power outage that is impacting several hundred residents, as well as City Hall. It's caused by a large tree that fell on Covington Highway, which is US 278. Georgia Power is aware of the problem, but there's no timetable yet for power restoration. Traffic on 278 is being diverted around the impacted area. This is just west of the Kensington MARTA station. More heated debate about how to pay school resource officers in Barrow County.
The county's helping with funding half of the district's 24 SROs, and commissioners insist the school board has enough money to fund the rest on its own. But teachers like Charity Lee are frustrated about hearing about the costs after last fall's deadly shooting at Appalachia High School.
After an officer saved lives in our school, you're asking whether it's worth it? Could you be more callous?
Commissioners say senior citizens will be exempt from paying school taxes. They'll take a final vote on the budget June 24th. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
10 people are reported to be killed in a school shooting in the Austrian city of Graz. Austrian Chancellor Christian Stoker calls the shooting a national tragedy. Correspondent Bethany Bell says the alleged shooter is among those who have died.
Shots had been heard from the school. There appeared to be a number of dead people, including the person who carried out the attack. A police spokesman says that he appears to have killed himself.
In addition, several injured people are being treated at area hospitals. The motive in the shooting not yet known. Graz is located in southeastern Austria and is the nation's second largest city. A Gwinnett County couple is behind bars without bond, accused of robbing multiple grocery stores in Norcross and others in DeKalb County.
These are small mom-and-pop grocery stores.
Gwinnett Corporal Juan Marieto says the couple targeted the stores the same way.
All the robberies had the same MO. These two suspects, one being a male, one a female, they'll go into a grocery store and they'll demand cash from the register.
And at one store, a worker's infant was beside her. Gwinnett used a variety of techniques to find the suspects, finally locating Jairo Martinez Villafranca and arresting him, which led to that of Belkey Reyes Cordova. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Living in Georgia could increase your risk of dementia, according to researchers at the University of California, San Francisco. They have found when compared to the mid-Atlantic region of the U.S., dementia rates were 25% higher in the southeast. The researchers say the next step in the study is to determine what factors may be driving the differences. It is 10:03. The Mark Arum Show continues in less than 2 minutes. But right now, live team coverage of traffic and weather together. Ashley Fresca is live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Graham, delays continue. That volume through the heart of the city on the connector 75-85 northbound. You're still experiencing some brake lights beginning before University Avenue all the way up past Freedom Parkway. A little sluggish through Midtown in both directions of the connector as well. And still in recovery mode from this morning's crash, 85 south just before Highway 316. You're on and off the brake pedal getting toward Jimmy Carter Boulevard. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon, high 84. Drying out for tonight with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, sunshine with a few clouds, high 87. An isolated pop-up storm on Thursday, but mainly dry, high 88.
Right now we have 74 degrees in Sandy Springs, 76 degrees in College Park, and 72 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 10:03. Breaking news when it happens. 10:30, rather. I'm breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Tuesday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended fam with us today, Deborah Green, the executive producer of the program, Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Lil Gnocchi screens your calls. Coming up later this hour, we're going to check in on the latest negotiations between the United States and China as the trade war continues. After the 11 o'clock news, viral Burger King grad, local kid, graduated in his cap and gown and then went to work his shift at Burger King. It went viral. He is going to join us live, and we'll continue to update what's going on the streets of L.A. We've been there live already. We'll go back live to L.A. as it's the fifth day of protests over the immigration raids. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk to an immigration attorney about what is going on in L.A. and how it impacts migrants around the country. But first, though, before the news, I told you that we are now in the sixth incarnation of the nuclear arms talks, the nuclear talks with Iran. Kylie Atwood from CNN with the latest this morning.
Well, the announcement that this sixth round of talks was coming came from President Trump himself, indicating that there is a certain level of personal vigor behind keeping up the momentum in these talks, John. So that is significant. However, as you said, there are still key differences between the two sides, and President Trump noted those during his remarks yesterday when he announced that these talks would be continuing. Listen to what he said on that.
They're just asking for things that you can't do. They seek enrichment. We can't have enrichment. We want just the opposite. And so far, they're not there. I hate to say that because the alternative is a very, very dire one, but they're not there.
Now, the Iranians said yesterday that they are finalizing their response to a proposal that the U.S. side put on the table during the last round of talks, which was the fifth round of talks. And the Iranian deputy foreign minister for political affairs significantly said that they expect that their response is going to be reasonable, that it's going to be a basis for conversation. I want to read to you a specific element of what he said, quote, "Our plan is definitely not a sentence or a paragraph that can easily be translated into a no. There are definitely things in this proposal that show our seriousness." And what's significant there is that we have consistently heard pessimism from Iranian officials over the course of these Iran talks. And more recently, we have heard some optimism from them that they can get to a yes. But elements of what the U.S. put in that proposal last week, a few weeks ago, aren't necessarily going to get them to where they need to get. The U.S. is proposing investment from the U.S. in Iran's nuclear power program and a consortium of enrichment inside Iran. But that enrichment inside Iran wouldn't last for forever. And that is where, of course, this key disagreement continues to lie.
There's Kylie Atwood at the State Department this morning on CNN. A lot of big international irons in the fire for the Trump administration, not the least of which is Russia and Ukraine. We'll update that story a little bit later on the Mark Aram Show. In the meantime, continue our coverage of the protests in L.A. Joining us live on the show is immigration attorney Katie Lincoln Goldfinch. Katie, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey, good morning. Happy to be here.
Obviously, a still developing story. As an immigration attorney, your initial reaction to what we've seen now on the fifth day of protests in L.A.?
It's really concerning. For the most part, these protests have been peaceful, but I think the Trump administration is really wanting to make it seem like they have not been, so that they can react by sending in the National Guard and the Marines. And it's really concerning. I mean, I live in Austin, and we had protests here last night. There was tear gas deployed at the protest. So it's all, I think, pretty unsettling for everybody who's watching it.
Kate, let me ask you this question. Obviously, the protests in L.A., I'm not sure what happened in Austin yesterday, but they're protesting the increase in ICE sweeps in L.A. As an immigration attorney, didn't you see this coming? I mean, this was President Trump's campaign promise, right, was immigration and deportation. And obviously the first wave was to get the, quote, bad actors out of the country. But were you able to read the tea leaves and eventually see that the president and his administration would go after all folks that are here illegally?
Well, the thing I think that we maybe did not foresee, or that has people reacting so much, is that they're going after people who have not done anything wrong. So many of the people of late that have been detained or caught up are people who have done everything the right way. They've gone to their court hearing, they've gone to their ICE check-in, and ICE is just closing out cases and detaining people so that they can deport them rapidly. I mean, I had about 10 clients get detained just last week who were in a legal process and going to their appointments, not appointments, but, court or check-ins. So it's really egregious what's going on. And it's, I liken this to family separation 2.0. I mean, we all saw the family separations at the border in 2018, but what's happening now are the family separations in the interior of the United States. And what's even more awful about this is that these are blended families where a lot of these people have U.S. citizen kids at home who are missing their families, they're missing their parents. It's been really, really awful to see up close and personal, and that's what people are reacting to. The Trump administration is not going after, so-called bad actors. They're going after law-abiding people who are doing it the right way for the purpose of, I think, making it look like they're, rounding up and detaining a bunch of people, and they're going to tell everyone that they're getting the bad actors. But on the front lines, that, of course, is not what we're seeing.
Let's go in depth on one of your clients. You mentioned you have clients that are in the system. Think of one. I don't want names or anything, but you mentioned that they're doing their ICE check-ins. Think of one of your clients and explain to us and the listeners. One of your clients, they here illegally, but they were trying to gain legal status. What causes concern for you for your individual clients and what's going on now?
I can easily tell you about one client who has gone public this week. Her name is Carmen. She's detained right now. She's married to Eduardo, who is a U.S. citizen. He was born in the U.S., and they have 6 daughters. 5 of them are U.S. citizens, and 1 is a permanent resident. Carmen she came into the country 6 years ago, and she was, paroled in at the border and placed in deportation proceedings. This happens a lot to people. So she was going to court hearings, and she has many ways to get legal status. One is through her marriage to a U.S. citizen, another is through asylum, another is that she was a crime victim. So we have several cases essentially pending before her. And she had a judge who usually allows virtual hearings. But the day of the hearing, the judge, when we appeared virtually, said, you have to come in or I'm going to order you deported, because the judge, it appears, was colluding with ICE. So we showed up to court and Carmen was detained. This was about 10 days ago. And I was just at her family's house on Sunday night having dinner with her daughters, and her youngest daughter is 7 years old, and she was talking about how at night she and her daddy lay out her mom's clothes on the bed, and they snuggle with her clothes and lay in there, just because they can't hug her. I mean, it's just the most horrific, heartbreaking stuff. There's no need to have detained a woman like Carmen. She has no criminal history. She's not broken any laws. And, another client of mine was detained at a check-in. He's got a child at home who has a heart condition, is awaiting a heart transplant. I mean, it's just it's so unnecessary and awful. And not only that, it's sending a message to all the immigrants who are in a legal process that they are not safe to do things legally. It's also discouraging the right behavior. It's very stupid, for lack of a better word, by the Trump administration.
Let me go back to Carmen for a second. So she is being detained right now with the possibility of deportation?
That's right. They're trying to deport her.
And she's married to a U.S. citizen, has 5 children that are U.S. citizens. Yeah. On a legal basis standpoint, what can you do to prevent her from being deported and separated from her family? Do you have any legal maneuvers that you can use?
Well, we've appealed the dismissal of her case, and we're helping her proceed with the asylum petition, but ICE has taken the position in a lot of these cases that they can apply rapid deportation. It's called expedited removal. And that interpretation of the law by ICE is unprecedented and, in my opinion, illegal. So there are lawsuits pending about these actions by ICE So, what we can do in these cases is do everything we can to fight the deportation. It's an uphill battle, and hope that overall this policy gets blocked by the federal courts. As we've seen in other, like birthright citizenship, the things that the Trump administration does that are unconstitutional or illegal, they have to get blocked by the federal courts. And so we're in another one of those waves right now. The families are being separated.
Is the paperwork already been filed to try to get Carmen citizenship? I mean, was that already in the works?
Yes, she's had paperwork pending for years.
And that offers no protection whatsoever from...
Not in the perspective of ICE, right? They are taking the position that none of that matters.
Would this have happened 2 years ago?
Absolutely. This wouldn't have ever happened. I've been doing this for 20 years. Nothing like this has ever happened in my practice.
Well, as an immigration attorney, we're talking to Kate Lincoln Goldfinch here live on the Mark Arum Show. Again, President Trump ran on this. This was his thing if you're here illegally, you are going to be deported. Is there a solution in your mind, a middle ground, say, okay, deport folks that are here illegally, but make exceptions for those that have the Dreamer kids or are married to U.S. citizens? Is there a solution in your mind to make this right?
Well, I think the first thing is the Trump administration is trying to convince us that illegal equals dangerous or undocumented equals dangerous. And so there's a distinction, I think, that needs to be made, because really from the beginning, the people that they're picking up actually have no criminal history. And the immigration system is complicated and delayed and backlogged, but many, many millions of people in this country are in some type of process that can take anywhere from 6 months to 10 years to, get processed. So really what we ought to do, understanding that actually this is a nation of immigrants, that we need immigrant labor in every sector, that we should work on the resources to process legal applications, of course, not go after people who have committed no crime and who have done nothing wrong. And I don't think anybody's going to argue, look, if we have an actual, violent criminal with a, conviction that's dangerous and they don't have a legal way to stay here, yes, invest some law enforcement resources in finding those people and working them through the deportation system, but stop all of this nonsense of doing the easy, low-hanging, lazy law enforcement behavior, which is going after the people who are already, showing up for their appointments and don't have a criminal history. It's just absolutely ridiculous that they're doing. So the answer is actually a very simple one, but we have to change the premise, which is that not all immigrants are dangerous, of course.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but entering the country illegally, that's a civil violation, not a criminal violation. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, there can be some criminal charges for illegal entry and reentry, but yeah, but I'll also say that for many, many years, the borders have not been porous since, I don't know, the mid-2000s, like 2005, 2006. It's been very difficult for people to enter without status. So a lot of the folks who are here entered with a visa, or a lot of the people that the Trump administration is going after now, they actually entered legally under some type of parole program. They were admitted, but they were admitted under the Biden administration, which infuriates the Trump administration. So they're going after people who actually waited in line, applied, went through a background check, got processed in, they're going to their appointments, and now they're being vilified and picked up and separated from their families.
Final question for you, Kate. Any listeners right now that are in a similar situation to Carmen and her family, do you have any advice for them?
Number one is to talk to an immigration lawyer and to strategize about what you're going to do, what benefit, what protection against deportation you might have, and then what you're going to do if somebody gets detained, so that you can have a plan. Be informed about your rights and what your strategy is going to be. That's the best thing people can do right now.
All right. Kate Lincoln Goldfinch. I'm sorry. I appreciate your time, Kate. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You as well. That's a tough call. It should not be surprising. This was what the president ran on. But when you have a case like Carmen, who, married a U.S. citizen, usually that that should solidify you. You have 5 daughters that are U.S. That's a tough situation. We'll go back to L.A. A little bit later in the program, get the latest on the protest there. But locally, Beaufort Spring Connector, first and foremost, Ashley, planning my route home. Is it open today? Is it closed today? What's going on?
It is. It actually opened this morning just before 5 a.m., so that's really good news for commuters. It certainly helped the downtown ride. We've still got some volume downtown, though, making your way 75-85 northbound through the city, getting up past I-20, and another slowdown in the work zone. I-20 westbound trying to head toward Panola Road. You got construction in the right lane, 20 east past Wesley Chapel. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Hey, Georgia, remember you can play Georgia Lottery games from almost anywhere on any device. Go to galottery.com and click on DigiGames. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Wednesday starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, the latest overnight info from Los Angeles, and who Clark Howard says needs to do more to keep you from being priced out of your home on WSB.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Those wire shelves in your closet are just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Dave Baker for Artisan Custom Closets. At Artisan, we see it all the time. The wire shelves come crashing down. Clothes, shoes, bags are everywhere. It's a disaster zone. Save yourself before this happens to you. With a custom, spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to look at that clutter again. Your shoes, bags, clothes, accessories, all neatly organized and designed to stay that way. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter here. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, the other night I was snoring so bad. I was tossing and turning, and AMAC, the lawyer, came to me and said, honey, why don't you get a CPAP machine? I said, a CPAP machine? Then I can't roll over and kiss you in the middle of the night. I'm not doing that. You know what I did? I went to PalmettoSleep.com. There is an alternative to CPAP machines. It's oral appliance therapy. It's a great alternative to that bulky CPAP. You don't have to spend a night in a sleep lab. None of that happens with PalmettoSleep.com. They can arrange for an at-home sleep test in the comfort of your own bed. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to go to PalmettoSleep.com right now and sign up, because if you can't sleep at night, you have a terrible day the next day, and nobody wants that. I know I don't like it when it happens to me, so I went to PalmettoSleep.com. Go to PalmettoSleep.com and get rid of that CPAP machine.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
So, here's a thought. What if selling your house meant you didn't just get paid once, but twice? Sounds nice, right? That's exactly what Orchard does. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and I'm telling you, this is different. Orchard gives you cash up front from your current home, so you can go ahead and buy your next one now. No stress, no where are we going to live in the meantime drama. And while you're moving in, getting cozy, arguing over where the couch goes, Orchard is busy getting your old place ready to sell. They handle the cleanup, the fix-ups, the showings, even upgrades that can raise the price. And here's the kicker. When it sells for more, which happens a lot, you get that extra money too. So yeah, first payday comes when you buy, second one comes when your old place sells. Not bad, right? Want to check it out? Just head to Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com and get a free home valuation. No pressure, just a smarter, easier way to move. That's Orchard.
10:26 on the Mark Arum Show. Going to get a lot of feedback from that immigration attorney, I'm sure. Now, don't have a lot of time before the news here. How can you not feel empathy for Carmen, her client, right? Married, 5 kids, U.S. citizens. But at the end of the day, she was in this country illegally. And if you are in this country illegally, what is going on now should not come as a surprise. President Trump wasn't coy about his campaign promise to deport anyone here that was here illegally. This should not be shocking to anyone. It was one of the big issues that got him elected. And while I feel empathy for Carmen and folks in similar situations, you married a U.S. citizen, you've had babies here. Maybe an exception for that, or she was doing that. I don't know. It's a difficult situation, but you might be fully opposed to illegal immigration, but how can you not have empathy for someone like Carmen in that situation? News, weather, and traffic 3 minutes away. WSB.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Right now, get 4 windows free with every 4 you buy, plus no interest for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Guys, I want to tell you about a real solution to hair loss from my good friends at Advanced Hair. It's Mark Arum here. What makes them different, you might ask? Well, they combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. And this isn't a pill or a lotion subscription that helps you retain what you have. Instead, Advanced Hair offers the proven guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. Gone today, growing back tomorrow. Quick, simple one-day treatment. Your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's even guaranteed to grow for life. If you want your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. And listen, it takes just one visit, but first you're going to need a free consultation. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you'll get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. Great deal. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow online at advancedhair.com.
That's you, looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
At Barlow Lexus of South Atlanta, they just don't sell cars. They set the standard of amazing. Enjoy personalized service, a Starbucks cafe, and airport parking concierge because you deserve more than just a car. Visit BarlowLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today because they value you.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning at 10:30. I'm Graham Carroll. This news brought to you by your Metro Atlanta AMCO dealers. Our top local story, high praise from police after a couple in Kennesaw keep their cool when confronted by an angry driver.
Police say the 55-year-old suspect was following behind a couple in the Legacy Park subdivision when he became enraged they were going too slow.
Russo, Giancarlo Russo, was the person who was placed under arrest. He was upset with the victim because he was driving 25 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone inside the neighborhood.
Police spokesman David Buchanan tells WSB Russo blocked the roadway, got out of the car, started waving a knife, trying to get the couple out of their vehicle. The couple stayed inside, snapped a photo of the license plate, then called police to report the incident. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
A road rage incident in neighboring Paulding County under investigation after a man is shot and killed. It happened near Ridge Road and Cochran Store Road. The victim called 911 saying he had been shot after a confrontation with a black man driving a black SUV. The victim later died at Wellstar Paulding Hospital. Detectives are still searching for the suspect. Updating the unrest in Los Angeles, city officials are sharply criticizing the Trump administration's use of National Guard troops and Marines in response to ongoing protests.
The way to stop this violence is for the raids to not happen. And we're hearing that they could last for as long as 30 days with multiple raids a day. We don't know where they're going to take place. We don't know when they're going to happen. But it creates a sense of fear throughout our city, and it's just unacceptable.
Mayor Karen Bass believes her city is being used as a test case for federal takeover of local and state authority. She calls the interventions unwarranted. Whole Foods customers may be noticing some inventory issues. United Natural Foods is the company's primary distributor and has been forced to shut down some of its systems following a data breach.
The move has caused business disruptions and has delayed customer orders. United Natural Foods supplies roughly 250,000 products such as frozen foods as well as wellness products.
Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman says United Natural Foods is working with law enforcement on this issue. The debate over pickleball continues in Tucker. The city's mayor making a last-minute move to rebid a controversial project to add more pickleball courts at the Tucker Recreation Center, even after council members voted against it last month. Councilmember Alexis Weaver objected.
We really need to involve the community and build trust back. And doing this last minute, 11th hour, isn't the right way to do it.
Critics have threatened to sue if the project does move forward. It is International Ride to Work Day today. It was created to encourage riders across Georgia and around the world to commute by motorcycle or scooter. Always the second Tuesday in June, it began 34 years ago as a way to raise awareness of rider safety and the benefits of 2- and 3-wheeled transportation. Motorcycle commuting is often more fuel efficient and space-saving than driving a passenger vehicle. And right now it is 10:33, and it's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca live in the 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Graham, unfortunately, we have our eyes on a traffic red alert right now. 75 northbound is shut down with an injury crash. 75 north at Delk Road, exit 261 as first responders are still arriving on the scene there. So you're going to experience delays back at I-285. You want to think about Cobb Parkway, Highway 41 as your alternate route. And seeing construction delays, I-20 westbound as you head toward Panola Road, and a little bit slow leaving Roswell on Georgia 400 south before and after Holcomb Bridge. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy with a few pop-up showers through the afternoon, high 84. Drying out for tonight, lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, pleasant, high 87. Thursday, an isolated pop-up shower can't be ruled out, but mainly dry, high 88.
Right now, 76 degrees in Decatur, 75 degrees in Vinings, and 75 degrees in Midtown. More news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The way to stop this violence is for the raids to not happen, and we're hearing that they could last.
That's
for
LA
as long
Mayor
as-
Karen Bastel. The come will go back to Los Angeles, day 5 of the protests there. Plus, what's the future of the United States space program? We'll go in depth in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Look, I know what's important to you when you're having some additions done to your house. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. That's why I love Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. They've been building decks for over 60 years. Every project comes with a dedicated project manager and is properly built with future county and city code requirements in mind. Plus, Ben Hill Renovations offers many options, different styles, types of wood, color, and finishes. They can also build screened-in porches, outdoor living areas, multi-story wraparounds, pretty much anything you can imagine Ben Hill Renovations can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Set up a design consultation or swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Home's your happy place, but not when critters bust in, and it happened to me. Mark Arum here for Breda Pest Management. My wife and I were shocked to see 2 beady little eyes in the basement. So gross. Breda kicked those critters out, and we're still protected with their wildlife guarantee, even if they chew a new entry point. No one else covers that. Breda, they handle bugs and critters. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
10:36 on the Mark Arum Show. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk to Mike McKee from Bloomberg, the ongoing trade talks between the United States and China. 11:05, the viral Burger King graduate, local kid here, graduated high school and then worked a shift at Burger King, showed up to work in his cap and gown. He is going to join us live. A fantastic local story. Went viral, has raised over $100,000 to further his education. Really cool story. We're going to talk about the future of the space program in just a second, but I need to keep talking about the not the immigration protests, not what's going on. With ICE raids around the country again. That's why I said, Deborah, as soon as President Trump was elected, that I thought we'd see a bunch of mass self-deportations, right? Because there was no way that President Trump wasn't going to execute this campaign promise to get rid of illegal immigrants. That was his main thing. So I'm not surprised. I don't know why anyone's surprised that we're seeing increased ICE raids. But to me, timing in life is everything. And I think that the illegal immigrants that are being swept up in the ICE raids, just bad timing. And not bad timing that President Trump's the president now and it should have been with Biden. No, I'm just saying generational timing. Because everyone listening right now, everyone in the studio right now, we had some brave ancestor that said, I want a better life in the United States. Wherever I am living now, I don't like it. I want to get that American dream. For me, it was turn of the century. My ancestors in Eastern Europe saw the writing on the wall. Like, we're not really welcome here. This isn't a good situation for us. We're gonna do whatever we have to do to get to the United States of America. So this is, early 1900s when my great-grandmother and great-grandfathers emigrated from Eastern Europe to the United States. You've heard the stories. They came to the United States with $3 in their pocket, and they made it through grit, determination, hard work. They built up a life here in the United States. It was not easy. It was a struggle. Working, my great-grandparents worked in the garment industry in lower Manhattan, where, sweatshop conditions. And they would live in the famous New York City tenements where you'd have 25 people in an apartment. But they had the courage to give up everything they have, and they probably didn't have a lot in Eastern Europe, to try to pursue the American dream. The timing for them was perfect because they had unfettered access to the United States. They'd show up at Ellis Island. Do you have tuberculosis or lice or any disease? Even if they did, you remember the famous scene in The Godfather where they quarantined Vito because he had, I think he had TB, but they eventually let him in. They let in all our ancestors. All our ancestors were able to come to the United States legally. That's where these immigrants' timing is just bad timing. If this was 100 years ago, and if you were living in Guatemala or El Salvador or Mexico or wherever, you had a legal path, an easy legal path. Heck, the Irish migration from Ireland to the potato famine. It was welcoming everybody. Oh, you're here? Come on. $3 in your pocket. Good luck. Go make a life. And our ancestors did. And the American dream generationally went, my great-grandparents struggled, and then they got a little better life for my grandparents who worked harder and got a little better life for my parents who worked hard and got, I'm here because of them. I'm here because my great-grandparents had the guts, the courage to give up everything they knew to come to the United States. That's a ballsy move. It was a ballsy move in 1917. It's a ballsy move in 2025. If you're living in El Salvador or Argentina, wherever you are, and you don't feel safe where you are, and you see this beacon of light that is the United States of America, what if the United States was as bad as it is in El Salvador, and you see England as the motherland? Would you have the guts right now to leave Metro Atlanta and pack up everything you can, grab the kids, and book passage to Europe and start anew? You might not even know the language. That's courage to do that. But the immigrants that are coming in now, they're not allowed. That's just the way it was. My great-grandparents, they were allowed, and they were able to come and start the American dream. So I know a lot of you folks are like, if you're illegal, get out of here. Okay, I can't argue with that. But what if it was illegal for our ancestors when they came over here? My great-grandparents are taking a boat from Estonia or wherever they boarded their boat to get over here, to get passage, third-class passage across the Atlantic to come to the not-so-opening arms of, what if they got here and they're like, no, you're illegal. Get back on that boat. I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. Deborah and Longoria wouldn't be here. It's just the courage. It's the same amount of courage, if not greater now, than our ancestors. It's just that the doors are not open to them. So I feel empathy. But I also say, well, the writing was on the wall. If you were here illegally, you had to know this day was coming. It takes a lot of courage. You get into this country illegally, that's a courageous thing to do, to try to get a better life for your family. It's not legal. You're not able to. Thank the Lord that my great-grandparents were able to come here, and it was legal immigration, and start the American dream, which has now flourished. And I know a lot of you in the same boat. It's just bad timing. Bad timing. So I feel empathy. A family of 4 coming up from Guatemala. Think of all they had to do to get into this country. Imagine you have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. You got to come from Guatemala to the U.S. southern border and get, that's a courageous thing to do. That's courage. You really got to want a better life. You really have to be fleeing something horrible to take all the risks associated with that. I can't even imagine. My great-grandmother didn't want to talk about it. I would, I was a kid, and we were talking about Ellis Island in school, and I'd be like, Nana, tell me. And she didn't speak very good English. She'd be like, no, didn't want to talk about it. That's how bad the journey over was for them. She was happy to talk about, fleeing the Cossacks that were raiding villages. They wanted to get out of there and come to America, and they did. They were able to. They were able to do it. It's just bad timing. I honestly, if the roles were reversed, would I have the fortitude to say, all right, this I got to get out of the United States. I'm feeling persecuted. I don't feel safe. I need to pack up Maya and the dogs, and we're heading to Europe to find a better life with $10 in my pocket. Do I, at age 51, do I have that in me? No. I'd be like, well, I'm going to sit here and suffer. My great-grandparents didn't want to sit there and suffer. They said, we've got to, in order to survive, we have to find a better way, a better life. And for generations, that better life was the United States of America, the American dream. And it was not easy. Definitely not easy. And I'm sure it's not easy for illegal immigrants coming to the country. I know firsthand it's not. It's a struggle. It might not be the tenement houses of Lower Manhattan, but you go to an apartment off of Buford Highway, you got 12, 14 people in a 2-bedroom sometimes. They're not coming to, a majority of the illegal immigrants aren't coming to this country and coasting. They're struggling. They want a better life for their kids, much like our ancestors did. The difference is now they are not allowed to do that. But I can't knock the hustle. I can't knock the courage. I can't knock the determination. If you were 21 years old and newly married and you have a newborn and you're living in Guatemala and you're worried about gang violence and you fear for your safety, would you have the courage to say, you know what, I'm leaving country, the only country I've known, to go to a country where I think there might be a better opportunity? I don't know the language, but I'm going to risk it. I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to do it because I want my newborn baby to have a better life than I do. All of our ancestors did that. But they were able to come here and fulfill the American dream. That door for a lot of folks is now closed. Yes, there are certainly legal ways to get in here, but that takes time and that takes money usually to get through the legal immigration process. And I'm not judging what's going on now. I'm thankful that my great-grandparents didn't have the legal restrictions of immigration that are currently enforced. Because if they got turned around at Ellis Island, I'm certainly not doing this job. I'm certainly not in this country. I might not even be a thing. They might not have survived World War I and World War II, but they got out when they did. It's a tough issue to talk about. But no one should be surprised that the ICE raids are increasing. It was campaigned on. It's a campaign promise. It's being delivered. All right. I totally blew off that segment. Coming up later, we're going to check in on the future of the space program. When we come back, though, big negotiations ongoing between the United States and China. We'll check in with Mike McKee from Bloomberg News, and we'll check the markets as well. But first, locally, how are the roads doing on this Tuesday morning, Ashley Frasca?
Not really good if you're headed out of northwest Atlanta into Marietta. We have a traffic red alert. All lanes are shut down with an injury crash. A lot of first responders on the scene. 75 north right at Delk Road. That's exit 261 with all lanes being shut down. As you're leaving northwest Atlanta, you want to think about Northside Parkway, Highway 41 north as your alternate. You can get back on from Delk Road past this crash. And looking for a new stall reported in the center lane on the connector, 7585 northbound near University Avenue. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are 2 very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Welcome back to the Mark Aram Show. Quick follow-up to last segment. As I went to break, I realized when I said all of our ancestors chose to immigrate to the United States. Not some of our ancestors were forced to come down. So I apologize for that. I got caught up in the moment. I understand a lot of you folks listening, your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents didn't say, oh, let's move to the United States. You were forcibly brought to the United States. So I should, as a footnote to that tangent I went off, I should include that. I apologize for not including that. Updating the U.S.-China trade wars, Mike McKee, Bloomberg News, joins us live. Mike, where are these trade talks taking place, my friend?
Well, they're taking place at Lancaster House in London. It's near Buckingham Palace. It's a sort of ceremonial building that's used for a lot of different things. And in this case, it's being used for the talks. We are getting word that they may be breaking up. So I'm watching the feed of that as we're speaking now. But so far, nobody has come out.
Breaking up as in we're not doing these talks anymore, or we're going to pause for the day?
Well, they won't be able to pause because Secretary Bessent is due on Capitol Hill tomorrow to testify. So he's expected to fly back to the United States. The question is, did they achieve anything? Will they come out and say we've reached an agreement, or will they come out and say we're going to have to come back another time and try again?
These talks, Mike, all centered around tariffs, or are they wider than just tariff talks?
These are very narrow. In Geneva last month, the U.S. Felt it had an agreement that China would allow more rare earth shipments to reach American customers. Those are the elements that we use in a lot, especially of weapon systems, but in automobiles, things like that. The Chinese control 70% of the rare earths that are out there to be used. And they've blocked the shipment to the United States because of the president's trade war. And the U.S. thought they had an agreement to remove that block, and Chinese haven't done it yet. And in return, the Trump administration put on some targeted tariffs on chip design, jet engine parts, chemicals, nuclear materials. And the Chinese are asking in exchange for the rare earths that those be taken off. It sounds like a deal that could be made, but we don't know why it's taking so long or what the sticking points are.
Big trade talks in the world's two biggest financial superpowers. Mike McKee, Bloomberg. Mike, thanks for jumping on with us, buddy.
Okay.
There you go. So Bessent has to go back to the U.S., but Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and U.S. Trade Rep Jamieson Greer might still be able to stay and continue the negotiations. Obviously, a massive international story. Hopefully can normalize trade relations between the U.S. and China. News, weather, and traffic. When we come back, very excited. Joining us live, he went viral. Graduated from high school here in the metro area and then got called into worker shift at Burger King. Showed up to work in his cap and gown. Yoki, tomorrow, wear your cap and gown. I want you to go viral. Social medias, you know, I'm not even going to give them. I don't even want to hear from you today. WSB Radio, though, is all the social medias you need.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Going back to college, I have sent my father Omaha Steaks for Father's Day because who doesn't love steak? Dads love steak. A recent survey showed 75% of Americans agree there's no better way than to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. Dads love to grill. I remember some great memories as a kid of my dad grilling. Now I do. And I get him Omaha Steaks, and you can too. Shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, my listeners get an extra $35 off when you put Eric in, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout. Unbelievable quality from Omaha Steaks. I am a longtime gift giver of Omaha Steaks. My dad loves Omaha Steaks. Your dad will too. Go to omahasteaks.com, load up your cart with deliciousness, get $35 off, minimum order required, when you use promo code Eric at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. You'll get an extra $35 off with promo code Eric at checkout. Your dad will love you for it.
When everyone in the family wants something different from this year's vacation, there's only one thing to do.
Plan for Pigeon Forge. From gorgeous mountain views, shows, and shopping for leisure lovers to coasters, a 200-foot swing, and hundreds more rides for adventure seekers. Plus Dollywood's epic array of fun. There's plenty of variety for the whole family, all in one place. Unique experiences, quality time, and memories for years to come. Find your personal favorites. Plan your getaway at mypigeonforge.com.
Storm season officially here, friends, and it wreaks havoc on your house and your roof. It's Mark Aram here. If you truly want peace of mind about your roof, and for many years to come, ask Dr. Roof about their lifetime warranty. Dr. Roof's warranty means they have your roof covered for the lifetime of your roof, and if anything comes up, Dr. Roof will take care of it. You never have to worry about a thing. They stand behind it since they've been in business for over 35 years. Now that is peace of mind. All the info online at drroof.com.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning at 11 o'clock. I'm Graham Carroll. This news brought to you by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G Network. Our top local story, the Georgia Supreme Court finds the state election board overstepped in passing several new rules last year.
In a unanimous ruling, the state's high court invalidated the rules that would have required the hand counting of ballots and that election workers certify only after a reasonable inquiry. In the ruling, the justices make it clear that the election board can only enforce current state law. The measures passed before last year's presidential election were already held up by a lower court ruling. Supporters say the rules were about ensuring accuracy, while opponents argued it could have caused chaos during the election. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
An isolated shower is not out of the question this afternoon, but it will be drier than it has been in recent days. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. The two teachers killed in the September Appalachia High School shooting are being added to a national memorial. Richard Aspinwall and Christina Irame were both math teachers at the school. They will be added to the National Memorial to Fallen Educators in Emporia, Kansas later this month. The memorial was established in the wake of the Sandy Hook school shooting. 189 names are already engraved. And Barrow County commissioners are getting an earful over funding for school resource officers.
The county defends its decision to pay for half of the district's 24 school resource officers next year.
Barrow County is not defunding the SRO program.
But county spokesman Brian Stewart insists the school board has enough money to cover the rest of the costs. However, teachers like Charity Lee question the county's position, especially after last fall's deadly shooting at Appalachia High School.
We will remember who stood for our children and who turned their backs. When we vote.
A final budget vote by the county is expected in late June. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Happening right now, the city of Avondale Estates dealing with a widespread power outage impacting several hundred residents, as well as City Hall. It is because of a large tree that fell on Covington Highway. Georgia Power is aware of the problem, but there has not been a timetable set for power restoration. Traffic is being diverted around the area. This is just west of the Kensington MARTA station. Affordable housing was a hot topic at the Cobb County Commission meeting this morning. Recent Walton High School graduate Carter Ray telling the commissioners,
I'm deeply concerned about my generation's future. I'm scared that I'll never be able to own a home, forced to rent for my entire life. I'm scared that I'll never be able to achieve the American dream. And so are tens of thousands of young people across the county who don't often have their voices heard in this room.
Craig Harfoot agrees.
The young people here, I got a daughter, she wants a house, she can't get it, can't afford it. There's going to be a reset. It's going to be bad.
Others are concerned about new apartment and townhome communities putting a strain on local schools by increasing student enrollment beyond capacity. And some district leaders are also worrying about high-density housing and how it could stretch resources and require costly expansions. The Douglas County Animal Shelter reopens its doors today after 2 weeks under quarantine.
The Georgia Department of Agriculture gives the shelter the okay to open back up to the public after 13 dogs were diagnosed with pneumovirus and 3 dogs tested positive for parvovirus last month.
The pneumovirus is actually a new strain. There is not a vaccine for it at this point. It's very treatable. We use a round of doxycycline.
Douglas County Animal Services Director Vanessa Francikowski previously told WSB pneumovirus is extremely contagious and lasts longer than other viruses. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It is 11:03. The Mark Aram Show continues in less than 2 minutes, but right now, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good morning, Graham. A little bit of better news for those commuting in Cobb up into Marietta on I-75 north in Cobb County. It was a traffic red alert. They just reopened the right lane for right now. Gridlock alert, 75 northbound Delk Road exit 261. Again, just that right lane traffic getting by. You're jammed from 285, also impacting both of the 285 north and westbound ramps onto 75 north. Highway 41, Cobb Parkway will get you around that. Just found a new crash in Midtown. It's in the HOV lane, 75, 85, and northbound up at 17th Street. Some brake lights there starting to fill in and back toward Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon, high 84. Drying out for tonight with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, sunshine with a few clouds, high 87. An isolated pop-up storm on Thursday, but mainly dry, high 88.
And right now, 77 degrees in Stockbridge, 76 degrees in Alpharetta, 76 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 11:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Town to be near you.
11:05 on another very busy Tuesday news day. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Coming up, we're going to talk to Michael Baker, the Mill Creek High School grad who went viral right after his graduation. He helped out his coworkers at the Burger King. He's going to join us live in just a second. But I've been teasing this all morning long, the future of our space program, as my former coworker Chris Kroc used to pronounce it, program. Joining us on the Mark Aram Show is our buddy correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning, my friend. Axiom was scheduled to launch a 4-person crew to the International Space Station this morning. That has been postponed. What can you tell us now?
Yeah, so this Axiom mission is, as you said, a group sending 4 people to the International Space Station. Peggy Whitson, a veteran NASA astronaut, now retired, now works for this company, Axiom. She's bringing along 3 first-time flyers from Hungary, from India, and from Poland. Essentially, they are chartering a flight on a SpaceX rocket. So no real new technology by Axiom on display here yet. That's a company that wants to develop modules to add to the International Space Station first, and then Axiom wants to have its own its own Axiom space station ultimately being built. So there's still a company in its infancy trying to raise awareness and get some money by selling seats like this and working with SpaceX.
I think that answers my next question, that this would be a tourism space flight that Axiom is launching.
Yeah, I call it a charter flight, right? That you've got the Peggy Whitson is sort of the representative of the company, and she's escorting these 3 paid flyers for this 2-week trip to the ISS.
All right, so broadly speaking, as far as the space program, and especially the International Space Station, we got the Russia war with Ukraine, Elon Musk saying, hey, I'm going to pull out of my government contract. What's the overall future of the space program here in the United States and globally?
Well, look, we are at the tail end when it comes to the life of the International Space Station. It's been up there and growing for the past 25 plus years, and there are already plans to bring it down and splash it into the ocean. Actually, SpaceX won the contract to do just that. Now, when that happens, that's still a bit of an open question, because there's still a lot of good life in the ISS, and Americans have paid for most of it, but with more than a dozen other countries, and of course, closely working with Russia as well. And it's also that symbol that the U.S. and Russia have been working collaboratively in space for decades, even before the ISS. If you want to go back to the old Mir space station as well, Skylab, and on and on and on. So, we've had this working relationship with Russia in orbit, even though sometimes on the ground things get a little dicey.
Indeed. Correspondent Rory O'Neill joining us on the Mark Aram Show. So after the International Space Station plummets back to Earth, is it the future in Axiom's hands? Is it in Musk's hands? Will there be a replacement?
There are lots of hands, and that's the point. NASA is really trying to develop this commercial space industry to get more and more companies to do their own thing. Blue Origin, that's the space company owned by Jeff Bezos from Amazon. He just launched Katy Perry and Gayle King and others. He has 2 more rockets in development, one called New Glenn. It's launched once. But it's also going to be capable of putting up these kinds of modules into space. You've got Sierra Nevada. You've got, the list goes on and on. But they're all companies in their infancy, and they're trying to get them to that next level with these government contracts. This SpaceX was just first, right? They used a lot of those government contracts to finally develop their Falcon 9 rocket, the Dragon capsule, and now they can make these trips thanks to seed money. And by the way, not to drag on, but this is how aviation really got its footing. 100 years ago, the U.S. government, through the Postal Service, was buying airmail. And that really helped to fund the development of aviation in the U.S. and around the world. NASA hopes to be doing the next version of that when it comes to space travel.
Interesting. And correct me. There you go, Rory O'Neill on the future of the Space Department. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Very excited for our next guest. Back on May 21st, Michael Baker graduated from Mill Creek High School. That's where the story begins. Joining us on the show. We'll start with you first, Michael. Good morning, man. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
So May 21st, you graduate from Mill Creek High School, and you and your folks want to go celebrate. So where do you decide to go celebrate?
The graduation, my mother and my grandmother, they wanted some food, so I was just like, we can go to my job, and I can get y'all some food.
And that's so you work at Burger King.
Yes, sir.
And you've been working there since February, trying to earn money for college, et cetera. So you and your mom and your grandmom, I would have done the same thing. I worked at a restaurant. I would say, hey, let's go to my joint. We'll get some food. So you go there, you show up, and what happens next?
And so when I showed up, I walked to the back door, and it wasn't like 3 employees there. And so I saw like a line around the building, and it was like a whole bunch of orders on the screen. So I was just like, I'll help y'all for a little bit. I'm about to go home and go to sleep anyway.
So it's jammed. It's jammed at the Burger King because everyone's going there after graduation. They want the flame grilled Whopper, right? And there's only 3 coworkers there. So you're in your cap and gown, and you decide to help out your buddies at work. Like, oh, they're slammed. Let me get back there and help out.
Yes, sir.
And that's where our next guest comes in, Maria Mendoza, joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Hi, Maria. Good morning.
Good morning.
So are you a Mill Creek grad as well?
Yes, my daughter is.
Oh, your daughter is. Okay, so you're also at Burger King, apparently a popular spot after graduation. And how do you enter the story? What's going on your end of this?
Well, over 700 kids graduated that night, and it was already late. It was from 8 to 10. And so I'm like, you know what? I want a Whopper. And really, my husband was like, no, there's food at the house. I'm like, no, I really want a Whopper today. I don't know what's going on.
I can relate to that.
So we decided to go to Burger King, and then it was so packed with people. Like, it was taking forever to get the orders because so many people went ahead. And once we hit the window, I'm kind of nosy, so I peek in because I want to know what's going on, who's making my food.
Yes.
And so when I peeked in, I seen Michael with his sash and with his medals, and it's like my whole world froze at that moment. I'm like, it was just like me and him. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at him. He is working with his medals, and I saw him so happy. You could see like he's singing in the video or something. And that's when I decided, somebody told me, record this.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to be sneaky. I recorded it, which it was the worst recording ever. Credit to myself. And so I just recorded that, like 5-second clip.
And then you posted it to TikTok.
Yes. I was like, you know what? I'm going to post it on TikTok, but it was the next night. And I was like, TikTok, do your thing, which I never post stuff like that.
That's amazing. So, Michael, did you know that Maria was recording you?
No, sir.
So you were just in. Now, did you have the full cap and gown on and the medals? And what were you doing at Burger King at that point?
I actually had took off my cap and gown, but I still had my stash and my medals on.
Okay.
And so I really just jumped in with where they needed help at. And so I guess they needed help like in the front. So I was at the fry station just making fries, nuggets, chicken fries, bagging orders.
Amazing. So you're making food after your graduation, packed Burger King. Maria's got a hankering for a Whopper, and she takes this clip, and so you didn't even know at that point, Michael, that this was going on. When did you become aware that Maria had posted this clip to TikTok and it started going viral?
Okay, so that Saturday, the Saturday of my graduation week, I had my graduation party. My manager had called me and said, Michael, I need you to come up to Burger King right now. It's like a life-changing matter. Like, this is urgent. You need to get up there right now. And so me and my brother went up there. And so on the way up there, in my head, I was thinking, because me and my GM was already talking about me being promoted as a manager, so I thought I was getting promoted.
Okay.
But then when I got up there, she showed me the TikTok that I went viral, and I was like, wow. And then she showed me the GoFundMe. That's when like it hit me. I was like, the tears just started coming down.
So who started the was that you that started the GoFundMe, Maria? Who started that?
Yeah, so the day after I posted TikTok, it had already 1 million views just in 24 hours.
Wow.
And people were like, hey, can you send us his GoFundMe or his Cash App? And I don't know Michael. I didn't even know his name at the moment. So one of my daughters was like, Mom, you should make him a GoFundMe. And I was like, I could do it even if it's not for me. So I put up $5,000. By the time I met Michael, it had 6,000, and now it's over 230,000.
230,000 in the GoFundMe. That's insane. So, Michael, that's life-changing money. I know you were working at Burger King to raise money for a college fund and furthering your education. Is that what the money's going to be going to?
Yes, sir. The money's going to be going into a trust fund account strictly for education purposes.
Excellent. That's fantastic. And I mean, do you still work at Burger King? I know if I was your age and I got $200,000, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm going to leave now. But you're still working there.
Yes, I'm actually got promoted to manager, so I'm in training to be a manager.
That's amazing. Maria, is this the most crazy story you've ever been involved with?
The craziest ever. And on top of that, Burger King surprised Mikel and my daughter with another $10,000 scholarship.
Oh, my goodness. That's remarkable. All right, so, Mikel, what do you want to do when you, quote, grow up? Are you going to stay in the Burger King family? Do you want to go to school? What are your long-term plans?
I'm actually going to go next tech for automotive technology.
Okay, that's cool. And I would imagine $200,000 will cover tuition and fees at Gwinnett Tech?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. And Maria, what's your daughter's name, and what is she going to do?
Her name is Daisy Chavez, and she's going to GSU for neuroscience.
Oh, wow. All right. So we got two future stars between your daughter and Mikel. I got to ask, I'm a Burger King fan, Mikel. What's your go-to order at Burger King?
The crispy chicken sandwich.
Crispy
the original chicken.
Oh, the original on the sub roll.
Yes, sir.
My man, that's mine as well. I love that. Now, Maria, I love a good Whopper, but yeah, I always get the original chicken sandwich. And what do they call it when I ask for extra cheese, Mikel?
We say
heavy cheese.
Right?
That's exactly right. All right, that was my test to see if you really do work at Burger King. Every time I get the receipt, it's like original chicken sandwich, heavy cheese. So there. All right, I'm so proud of both. Maria, thank goodness you did that. I mean, Mikel obviously deserves all the kudos that he's getting for helping his coworkers. Like that's the kind of guy you want on your team that. He just graduated high school, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to help my teammates out because they're in the weeds. Restaurateur.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids out there in the world who are still like this, but they never get acknowledged, and we need to start, hyping them up.
Good for you for doing that. I wouldn't have even thought to and I haven't gotten on my TikTok account in 3 years, so I wouldn't be able to post it and make it go viral. All right, so is the GoFundMe still active, or are we still raising funds?
Yes, it's still active, and we're just I guess we're gonna leave it up for another week or so.
Okay. Now it's
because people are still donating, so I don't want
Yeah, no,
to miss out on that.
I'll post it on my social medias. What do I just search Mikel's name? Or Burger King. I mean, what's the best way to search it on GoFundMe?
It is in my bio on my TikTok. So my TikTok account is Maria Bonita 528.
Hold on,
in the bio you could just.
Maria Beautiful 528.
Yeah, Bonita in Spanish.
I know. All right. So I'll check. Gnocchi's going to get on my TikTok account. I'll make sure, and then we'll share it. Now I've started GoFundMe pages in the past for other folks. You understand the logistics of making sure that Mikel gets the money, right? You're going to get hit with a tax bill. You've got to make sure that you talk to.
He's on there as a beneficiary.
Okay,
so
good.
I don't have control over his money
Okay,
anymore.
good. Man, what a great story. Hey, Mikel, Maria, keep us posted. I want to hear great success stories from Maria, from your daughter, and Mikel, as you eventually become the CEO of Burger King or become the greatest car mechanic of all time. I think both have very bright futures.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. You have a blessed day.
You as well. Unbelievable
Thank
stuff.
you.
Thank you, Mikkel. Best of luck, dude. That's amazing. What a great story. Mikkel Baker. I don't know, Longoria. If you got $200,000, you're working at Wiener Schnitzel in high school.
I'd peace out. I wouldn't even, yeah. As soon as they wrote the check, I'm like, yeah, see you
there
later.
you go. All right, so I'll have Gnocchi get on or Deborah will get the GoFundMe page posted up there, but a very cool local story. Mill Creek High School, fantastic stuff. All right, let's check the ride around town on this Tuesday morning. Let's say hello and good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Not good in Marietta. Crash investigation. This one might linger with us for a while. Gridlock alert. Only a right lane open. 75 northbound Delk Road, exit 261. That is Cook the ride leaving 285. 285 north. Interloop delays start back at South Atlanta Road. Westbound slowing out of Sandy Springs from Northside Drive, Powers Ferry. Highway 41 Cobb Parkway is filling in as an alternate, but it's your best bet, as well as Powers Ferry. They also still had the express lanes pointed southbound, so that's not going to help you get around it. So again, think Cobb Parkway or Powers Ferry. Crash moving all to the right now in Midtown. 75-85 northbound up at 17th Street. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Commute Options. With Georgia Commute Options, you can get more out of every mile, earn prizes, gift cards, and other cool deals when you switch from driving alone to a cleaner trip. More at mygco.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hassler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
That's you, looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
2 keys to surviving a brutal Atlanta summer. Number 1, stay hydrated. Drink your water, folks. Number 2, make sure your air conditioning unit can handle your needs. It's Mark Aram back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. You need AC this summer. You need an AC that works and is reliable, and you need to save money. Check out this offer. Get any sized AC, just $69.99 a month. That's it. 0 down. Low monthly payments, all future repairs, maintenance, even filters are no additional charge for life. An unbeatable lifetime warranty. Plus, you get 24/7 service and next day installations guaranteed, or Reliable pays you $500. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button, or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Happy 84th birthday, Shirley Alston Reeves, lead singer for the girl group pioneers, the Shirelles. Great song. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? GoFundMe link posted on my Twitter and Facebook accounts for Michael. $200 and some odd $1,000 already raised. There's a lot to unpack on that story. First of all, good for him. He saw his coworkers were in the weeds, and he decided, even after he graduated. I love the fact that everyone at Mill Creek's like, where are you going for after graduation? We're going to BK. We're going to Burger King. Fantastic stuff. So I posted the link to the GoFundMe there. Deborah, $200,000. That's amazing.
Good for him.
We need to get Mikel in touch with Clark Howard on the best way to invest that money. You know, set up a trust or whatever. I know Clark can make miracles happen with that $200,000. Anyway, check out the link to the GoFundMe. Active for another week, apparently. Twitter and Mark Arum WSB on Facebook. All right, when we come back after news, weather, and traffic, continuing our fifth day of coverage of the protests in L.A., we'll check back in with Camilo Montoyo Galvez from CBS News next on the Mark Arum Show.
All I have to hold on to is a simple song at last. Let me hear you say.
The perfect match for your next roof is Fenley Roofing. Fenley has already helped over 65,000 Georgia families and has over 2,000 five-star reviews. So you'll be sure you get your roof done right. Learn more at FenleyRoofing.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Guys, I want to tell you about a real solution to hair loss from my good friends at Advanced Hair. It's Mark Arum here. What makes them different, you might ask? Well, they combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. And this isn't a pill or a lotion subscription that helps you retain what you have. Instead, Advanced Hair offers the proven guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. Gone today, growing back tomorrow. Quick, simple one-day treatment. Your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's even guaranteed to grow for life. If you want your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. And listen, it takes just one visit, but first you're going to need a free consultation. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you'll get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. Great deal. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Online at advancedhair.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. At 11:30, I'm Graham Carroll. This news brought to you by Rocco's European Garage. Our top local story, good news if you're heading out for lunch. Repair work is now complete on cracks that caused major headaches for drivers who use the Buford Spring Connector to ramp onto access to I-85 northbound. All lanes are back reopened. The Georgia DOT says the cracks developed last week as a result of drainage issues. Road crews will have to return at a later date to finish up some paving work, but the DOT says that construction will be done overnight. In Cobb County, a heated exchange today between Commissioner Kelly Gambrill and Cobb District Attorney Flynn Brody over money to replace an aging HVAC system at the county jail.
What's the truth? Because again, you come into my office, you did talk to me about it, but you told me they were 28 years old. Now today you're saying they're 38 years old. So,
Mrs. Gambrill?
It's Commissioner Gambrill.
Commissioner Gambrill, and my name is Mr. Brody. Please read your agenda item. They were in place in 1987, which makes them 38 if my math is correct.
In a 4-0 vote, Cobb County Commissioners did approve more than $1.7 million for the new HVAC chiller for the jail. The Georgia Supreme Court delivers a blow to the state elections board, ruling that 4 of 7 rules approved by the board before the November 2024 election are invalid and exceed the panel's rulemaking authority. Those rules include hand counting of ballots and one regarding certification of results. The court's also sending 2 other rules back to a lower court for review. The state high court did say one rule is valid, that one requiring video surveillance of drop boxes after the polls close each day. The city of Avondale Estates dealing with a widespread power outage that is impacting hundreds of residents, as well as City Hall.
We had 2 massive oak trees uproot this morning, seemingly as a result of just, saturation of the ground from all the rain we've had.
City Manager Patrick Bryant says the trees fell on Covington Highway near the American Legion. He says power crews are working to restore power, but they hope to have it back this evening, and it is impacting business at City Hall. The city is asking for everyone's patience. A major national grant has been awarded to the Gwinnett County Public Libraries.
We are just thrilled with this announcement. It is a Carnegie grant for $350,000. And we will use it to expand our English language programs.
The library's Duffy Dixon says the library will work in partnership with Gwinnett Public Schools to increase the number of free English classes and recruit community volunteers to help teach those learning English. Gwinnett is one of just 11 libraries nationwide to receive funds for expanding adult literacy. Well, Georgia is getting a new area code. It is for Southeast Georgia and includes cities like Brunswick, Pooler, Savannah, Statesboro, and Waycross. Once new phone numbers for the 912 area code have been exhausted, some new users will begin using a 565 area code. A new study finds nearly 2/3 of American workers struggle with their work schedules. Gallup's new State of American Job Study shows about 40% of workers say they have little to no control over what days or how many hours they work. More than a quarter say they don't know their schedule more than 2 weeks in advance. This type of schedule uncertainty is more common among part-time workers and those without a college degree. It is 11:33. It's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather brought to you by Finley Roofing. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Graham, still dealing with this mess. Crash investigation, travel advisory up in Marietta, 75 northbound Delk Road, exit 261. As the investigation continues, only a right lane is open. You're jammed up from 285 northbound. The inner loop very slow all the way back to South Cobb Drive. Think about your surface streets, get you up to Cobb Parkway. That is slow, but it is an alternate making your way past Truist Park. Elsewhere in Midtown, cleared up the crash, 75-85 northbound up at 17th Street, and now a Hero unit trying to get a stall out of the second right lane behind it, 75-85 northbound up at Peachtree Pine Street. That is keeping you on the brake lights back toward University Avenue. Once that stall gets off to the right, things should start to improve. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy with a few hit-or-miss rain showers moving through. High 84.
Right now, 79 degrees in Beaufort, 78 in College Park, and 77 degrees in Midtown. More news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app,
all the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app,
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
The state of California and the governor of California brought a lawsuit in federal court here in California challenging...
That's Rob Bonta, the Attorney General of California. Coming up next on the Mark Arum Show, go back to L.A., day 5 of the protests.
Now is the season to have AquaGuard Foundation Solutions save your crawl space from the bad things down there and make the air you breathe in your home healthier with a crawl space encapsulation. Simply set up a free inspection at aquaguard.net. Remember, AquaGuard.
How easy is it to save energy and money in seconds? Power down unused devices, swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs, and adjust your thermostat for the season. Get more tips at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2.
Ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. 11:37. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Don't go anywhere. Eric Erickson live from noon to 3 here on 95.5 WSB. And, of course, the news team will be at the ready throughout the day to update any developments in the 5th day of protests in L.A. Speaking of that, let's go to downtown L.A. from CBS Radio News. Camilo Montoyo Galvez. Camilo, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
Get us caught up to speed here in Atlanta, if you don't mind. What happened last night in the protests, and what is it like on the streets of L.A. this morning?
Well, Southern California, simply put, continues to be the latest epicenter of the nation's polarizing debate over immigration policy and the question of whether ICE should be ramping up operations across the country targeting undocumented migrants who are suspected of being in the country illegally. We have had 4 consecutive nights of protests here in the LA area in Southern California, mainly, again, due to increased ICE activity here in the region, but also across the country. ICE has been expanding operations to target, identify, locate, arrest, and deport unauthorized immigrants across the country. The protests here have remained largely peaceful, but unfortunately, we have seen some agitators and others turn to violence, setting cars on fire and smashing sidewalks and other property to turn that into projectiles, if you will, to throw at law enforcement. And it is that violence that the Trump administration and President Trump, of course, have cited to justify the activation of several hundred Marines and obviously the mobilization of several thousand National Guard troops.
Have you seen Marines or National Guard troops yet in downtown LA patrolling the streets?
We have seen National Guardsmen guard several federal buildings in downtown LA, and the critical point to note is that the reason that we have seen several thousand people take to the streets in downtown LA, specifically around these federal buildings, is because those locations house the immigration court overseen by the Justice Department, but also the local ICE field office. And these are 2 locations where the agency had been arresting migrants who were showing up to their court hearings or checking appointments. And that really did seem to be the catalyst for these protests. We have not yet seen the Marines, but according to Trump administration officials, they should be arriving soon and be put in position to defend federal buildings.
Camilo Montoya Galvez from CBS News joining us live in L.A. here on the Mark Arum Show. Have we seen, the protest started, I believe, on Friday, continued through the weekend. Does it seem like they're gaining steam or losing momentum?
It looks like so far the momentum has been steady, and every afternoon the crowd starts to grow, and by the time we get to the evening hours, the crowds not just increase in numbers, but also in chaos. Yesterday, police tried to disperse many of the protesters in downtown LA, and that turned the situation a lot more tense and confrontational. And again, we did see some agitators try to confront police, and we saw several dozen arrests, according to local police data. But again, the open question is how long these protests will sustain and how long they will continue, if they will, throughout the week.
Is there a leader of the protests? I mean, we've seen protests here in downtown Atlanta. Usually there's a spokesperson or a leader. Is there someone that the media talks to get at what these protesters are actually looking to accomplish?
It does not appear that there's one single unifying leader behind the protests here in LA. It does seem, however, that there are several advocacy groups that are calling people to march, to protest, most of them peacefully. I was in the crowd last night, and we kept hearing chants of peaceful protests, peaceful protests. So it does seem like many of the people who are participating in these acts of protest simply want to get their voices heard and their views vocally heard across the country, and they want to do so in a nonviolent manner. But of course, we cannot ignore that some of the protests have indeed turned violent, and that is, again, the justification that the Trump administration is citing to call up National Guardsmen and U.S. Marines.
And we've heard, again, back to the mayor of Los Angeles saying that, these protests start peacefully, and then you get agitators that are looking to rebel rouse or loot or cause damage, and that's something we see in protests where the peaceful protest might be the goal, but you get folks that infiltrate it and really destroy what the protest is all about.
That is completely accurate. We have seen people of all walks of life from different countries, women, men, children, take to the streets to vocally voice their frustrations about the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, increased ICE activity, and they have done so peacefully, but we also have seen agitators infiltrate these crowds to not only trying to harm local and federal law enforcement, but also to turn the scenes into a much more chaotic, violent, and confrontational situation. And so it does very well seem like there are some here who are trying to exploit what is an otherwise peaceful act of First Amendment rights happening here in the LA area.
Camilo, I think there's a detachment for folks that aren't in LA on the purpose of the protests, right? You mentioned that they're protesting the increased ICE sweeps in Los Angeles County. What have those ICE sweeps look like, and why are the protesters upset about the increase in them? Exactly what's the issue that the protesters have with this increased ICE activity?
Sure. So as I noted earlier, ICE has been ramping up operations across the country targeting migrants who are here in the country illegally, specifically here in Southern California. On Friday, ICE conducted a worksite raid alongside the FBI and other federal partners that resulted in more than 40 individuals being arrested by the agency. Another 77 migrants were arrested on Friday in the greater LA area, and those operations that were highly visible seem to be the catalyst for the protests that, again, have now turned into a days-long set of demonstrations, the biggest, I think, yet since the president launched his immigration crackdown. What is also really important to note is that while ICE is arresting some migrants who are in the country illegally and also have criminal histories, there does seem to be a lot of opposition for the agency to arrest migrants who are simply in the country without legal permission and have no criminal records. And we have seen that now a growing share of those being arrested by ICE are undocumented immigrants who, yes, are here without authorization, but otherwise are not serious criminals.
Gotcha. All right. Camilo Montoya Galvez. Camilo, thank you so much for your time. Please stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Any updates on the protests in LA or other major metropolitan areas? We'll provide updates throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. Got a new scam alert. I need the Clark Howard scam alert sounder from back in the day. This one involves Elon Musk and a deep fake scam. How are folks getting scammed by a fake Elon Musk, Deborah?
Well, chances are Elon Musk is probably not going to contact you directly through social media, specifically X. So if you receive a friend request from him, it might not actually be him. That's what happened to this man in Florida. He got a friend request from what he thought was Elon Musk. They started chatting about how he could invest in Bitcoin. Oh, no. They even had a FaceTime call. And it ended up to be a fake, a very good deep fake. Now, the guy is only out about $400, but still that's a significant amount of money. And police say there's really no way to trace the scammer since it's all been online.
So it's what makes that scam crazy is that you do a FaceTime call with fake AI Elon Musk. Oh, man, those deep fakes are crazy. All right, so just if Elon sends you a friend request, it's probably not him, even if he looks real on that on that FaceTime. One more social media story. This, I don't even know how to begin. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Nudify. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yep.
Nudify tool. What's a Nudify tool?
All right. You know that I love to use AI image generation, but I have not used the Nudify tool. So what it does is it generates a deep fake of a real individual. So you can put up a picture of, we'll just say Gnocchi, right? And it will make, well, he gives us butterfly. So it will make an explicit image of Gnocchi.
No.
And then other people are sharing those images online. This is mostly used for younger people in high school, kind of revenge porn, if you will. So Meta's cracking down. They're not letting ads for any of this stuff because they don't want this content on their platforms
Oh,
either.
my God. So I'm definitely not directing you to do this. But you could do a deep fake nude picture of me or Longoria?
Yeah, it'll just take your picture
Nobody
and it'll
wants
put
to
it
see
on.
that.
Well,
Come on now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is though, when you use AI, it really uses
kind of generous images for when it creates bodies. Like, rarely does it give you a almost perfect looking body.
All right, dabble in it, maybe, Deborah.
No. I'm on a work computer. I will not be doing that.
As long as it's a flattering image of, wow, that's crazy. All right. Again, Seesaw, AI, good, bad, good, bad, good. I'm going to say bad today. All right, is traffic good or bad today on a Tuesday morning? Live to the 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Hey, not good heading toward Marietta on I-75 northbound, Mark. It's due to this crash investigation. 75 northbound, Delk Road, exit 261. Only the right lane is open. 75 northbound, you slow right at about Cumberland Boulevard trying to get outside the perimeter. 285 northbound delays stretch back to South Cobb Drive with 285 westbound, the outer loop hitting the brake pedal right around Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road. Cobb Parkway has filled in as an alternate, but really your best bet right now, they don't quite have the express lanes switched northbound to alleviate some of that pressure, so maybe even consider Powers Ferry Road as an alternate. Stall just moved all to the right downtown, 75-85 northbound, up around Peachtree, Pine Street, held a few right lanes to get that off to the right. That's why you're seeing some lingering volume back to University Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, this is Chris Chandler. When you join us Wednesday, starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, the latest overnight info from Los Angeles, Washington, and the protests around the country. Breaking Metro stories, too, and our exclusive 5-day forecast. Plus, why Clark Howard says you should keep your kids in the loop about your finances, and Triple Team Traffic, get you to work on time. Join us for Atlanta's Morning News. We start at 5 on 95.5 WSB.
Steel Horse Law knows that your bike is made of steel, but your heart is made of gold. If someone causes you to lay your bike down, you deserve the very best from an experienced firm that knows bikers because they are bikers. Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. They're local, so they understand the changes to Georgia law, and you'll meet directly with your attorney, not just an assistant like the mega firms. Schedule your free accident evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
With thousands of 5-star reviews, it's no wonder CertaPro Painters is Greater Atlanta's most preferred painting company. Hear from one of their happy customers.
We wanted to add some color to our walls, so we hired CertaPro. We had built-in shelves that were supposed to be ready to paint when they got there, which they were not. CertaPro spent hours caulking and sanding to make sure the job was done right. It's rare to find a crew with integrity who really take pride in their work.
When choosing a painting professional, choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle this summer. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
We've all got one, and there's never just one thing on it. Your home improvement to-do list. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus covers everything on your list. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, the owner of Painting Plus. We do it all, and we do it right. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. In a perfect world, when you have a plumbing issue, you want a plumber that answers the phone when you call, shows up on time, respects your home, and tells you exactly what needs to be done, quotes you a price, and does the job right the first time. They appreciate your business, and Superior Plumbing becomes your plumber for life. Call Superior Plumbing to come fix your plumbing issues.
Superior, the honest one. Call 770-422-PLUM.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Mark Arum for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment. Now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Sly and the Family Stone. Good job today, Longo. Rest in peace, Sly. 82, COPD. Deborah Green, no surprise here if you drive around Metro Atlanta, my neighborhood especially, new homes being constructed left, right, and center. Atlanta ranks where now in the nation in new home construction?
Atlanta ranks 4th in the country for building new homes, noting things like quality of life, access to parks, and even new home buyer perks for all make the city really, really enticing to move to.
But the real estate market is bananas right now because there are so many more homes for sale than buyers out there. I wonder what the future of all these new homes that are being constructed. It's a stark difference than what the real estate market was during the pandemic or right after the pandemic. But Atlanta, 4th in the U.S. in new home construction. Good news there. We talked to Rory O'Neill earlier about the future of the space station. One more outer space story. Sigh of relief heard around the world. We are not going to be hit by a massive asteroid anytime soon. But ABC's Jim Ryan says one of our celestial neighbors might still be in the crosshairs.
Scientists who first warned last year that an asteroid called 2024 YR4 had a slight chance of crashing into the Earth in 2032 have reworked the numbers and determined that we're completely safe. But now the moon has a 4.3% chance of being struck by the same rock. While the 10-story high stone would devastate any city on impact, it's expected the asteroid would have little effect if it were to hit our nearest natural satellite. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube the other day. There's a theory out there, Deborah, that the moon is hollow.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, the hollow moon. All right, so we're not going to get hit by the big killer asteroid, but maybe the lunar surface might.
Longoria's Fact of the Day.
All right, today's National Egg Roll Day. And egg rolls are surprisingly an American invention.
That's right.
With their roots in early 20th century Chinese-American cuisine. And while the name egg roll suggests an egg ingredient, they often do not contain eggs in the filling.
Yeah, you go to China and order an egg roll, they're going to be like, what are you talking about, gringo? Now I want an egg roll.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to go to
King.
Burger King, and now I want an egg roll. National Egg Roll Day. All right, good job, Longoria.
Are you guys ready for the Mark Arum Star
I'm giving 1 star to the show today. A buddy of mine passed away, Drez the Beatnik. If you are familiar with the underground hip-hop scene in Atlanta, you know Drez the Beatnik, a.k.a. Follow the Hat, legendary hip-hop historian from Philly, made his roots here in Atlanta. I hadn't talked to him in a little bit, but he had a lot of health issues. just checking the DMs he and I had in the past. He had heart surgery in the fall, had kidney issues, underappreciated, just legendary figure here in Atlanta. Questlove posted a great tribute to him. I mean, he's from Philly, but he was grew up here in Atlanta, made his bones in Atlanta. Really, Shelley knew him. Really nice soul, and he will be missed. So only 1 star of the show today, even though most of the core 4 deserved it. But I want to highlight Drez the Beatnik. Rest in peace, buddy. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to update the riots in L.A., any big local stories. Political analyst Stephen Lawson is going to join us live in studio. A lot of big political stuff to talk with Stephen. Social media is active throughout the day at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Tuesday, Atlanta.
On that midnight train to Georgia. Leaving on that midnight train.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
The bills you get from the hospital, they're not even close typically to what the charges should be. They'll send you something known as an EOB, an explanation of benefits from your insurer, and you'll have a bill from the hospital. You can actually decode the bill if you'll take the time. When you go through that bill and you find all the things the hospital billed your insurer for that really didn't happen, you challenge it, it's money back in your pocket.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Good afternoon. At noon, I'm Graham Carroll. This news brought to you by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. Our top local story, the Georgia Supreme Court rules against the state election board's controversial rule changes.
The court's ruling finds the board overstepped in passing sweeping changes before last year's presidential election. In a unanimous decision, the justices say the board is only allowed to enforce current state election law. Prior to last year's election, the appointed board approved rules requiring the hand counting of ballots and that elections are certified only after a reasonable inquiry. Opponents argued the rules could have caused chaos last November, but supporters say they were